also look to be...
And your birdseed butter.
Welcome to Dancy Sings Big Singing channel. This is the 9th Trump song. More Trump songs are coming. Please turn on CC for lyrics. Please share, like, subscribe to support Trump. Thank you. If our social media accounts were gone, cause we shared pro-Trump posts, and we had to start again. Without me, we ain't get accounts. We thank patriots and free media to be living here today, 'cause it still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to live in Silicon Valley, where's the home of high-tech giants. And I won't forget Twitter suspended me, 'cause I posted pro-Trump songs, and I gladly stand up next to freedom and defend her still today. 'Cause there are no doubt I love this land. God bless Silicon Valley. Thank you. There's the second paragraph. Please share, like, subscribe to support Trump. From Facebook to Google, from LinkedIn, Tesla to Apple, across Golden Gate Bridge, from Stanford to San Francisco, from Sierra Mountain to Lake Tahoe, and Redwood Park to Half Moon Bay. Where's pride in Silicon Valley residents' heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to live in Silicon Valley that dominates our daily lives. And I won't forget Facebook suspended me, 'cause I posted pro-Trump songs. And I'm gladly stand up next to freedom and defend her still today. 'Cause there are no doubt I love this land. God bless Silicon Valley. Thank you. See you next song.
Thank you. See you next song. Ugh. I didn't do electrolysis last week because it was my birthday, and my upper lip is so much darker than it has been, and I'm disgusted. But I shouldn't be. It's okay. It's a process, and I'm going to be going to electrolysis this Friday. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Whatever Wednesday. No rhyme or reason. We're going to watch whatever I want. There's no unifying theme other than Hannah gets to pick everything, which I normally do, but usually there's a theme or something. It's just, basically it's a way for me to be lazy during the stream. Adria Staley, thank you for subscribing with a 4-month streak, says, yay, 4. What else? Are we on a... Oh, we got some gift subs, nice. Dad Buell with 20 bits says, to be honest, if Dancy didn't have the most busted mic, she wouldn't sound half bad. How dare you insinuate that she's bad at all? Ridiculous. Zorgnax, thanks for gifting a sub. Dad Buell, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Appreciate ya. What else can we do? Ooh, Hype Train. Cast Iron Pan, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the community. Oh yeah, a lot of people got their stimulus things today. Give me those sweet, sweet stimulus subs, chat. Marusama with a link. Hey, Han, I'm out of bits, but I got a new receiver and my cat really liked the bits. And hold on, let me look. Oh, cutie. What a cute kitty. Wagroads13, thanks for 100 bits. Cast Iron Pan, thanks for 100 bits, says Stimmy Bits. Puka the Duca with 100 bits, says Choo Choo. Steve with a Q with 100 bits. Did I hear about the thing in Atlanta? Wonder if he was a John Doyle fan? Yeah, I did hear about it. Absolutely disgusting. Just bad shit. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Shut Watch at some point. I'm waiting for more information to come out about the guy. RTK142 with 20 bits says, well, it appears I'm not able to convince others to rise up against Danzy, so fine, take the bits. I'm less than happy about it, but happiness is fleeting. Quiet 185 with 500 bits says, I was stimulated this morning. Have a bit of my stims. Thank you. History Chick 96 says, have some of my stimmy. And Zorgnax with 200 bits. Appreciate it. Oh, that's the wrong tab. Hold on. Melted Snow Caps, thanks for 100 bits. Good mics just can't handle her power. Every mic will break after her golden voice is sung through them. That's true. Can you really tell me
Hey, this is the 7th Trump song.
that this
Fancy Sings
isn't
Big Singing
the
Channel
greatest
presents
vocalist
Country on Fire,
in
made from
generations?
He's just phony and he's on fire. Corrupter than a politician, acting like a puppet. This election was stolen and it's on fire. Filled with voter fraud, but he knew he would get away with it. Oh, he got support from the swamp and is counting on it. He got support from fake media, which is censoring free speech. This election was stolen! This election was stolen! He's walking on fire! This country's walking on fire!
Get Deformed says, yes, more Danzy, and then the biggest sandwich with 1,000 bits says, Hannah, you're amazing. Thank you. Level 4 complete.
Let's unite against censorship. Never let big tech censor us.
Nick with a link to an Instagram post says, I'm all hedgehogged up for this St. Patrick's Day. Oh! I love your mask. It's so cute. Kirthan asks, Hannah, why must you harm us so? Guys, I mean, you know, it's just, I'm kind of a brat. That's how I am, okay? You're gonna come here, you gotta deal with it, okay?
Patriots gather real media, and
9% to level 5. We can do it, we're so close.
Stand up with President Trump, and we're not giving up. This election was stolen.
That's a good point. I should probably download her whole channel in case something happens and it gets taken down. What would I do if we didn't have Danzy? Like, what if Danzy got removed from the internet tomorrow and these songs were erased from history? It would be a travesty, okay? Puka says, I want my bits back. Too bad. That just sounded like she was screaming into the microphone.
This election was stolen. He's walking on fire. This country's on fire.
Get Deformed says every stream should start with Danzy. So great. RTK142 says, all I'm saying is if my buddy and I do start streaming, we wouldn't do this to our viewers. We're not overly evil people. Well, I guess I'm evil. I can live with that if it means I can subject you to Danzy.
Everybody stares as the election
Cast
goes
Iron
by.
Pan, thanks for the
We can see
71
fraud
bits.
evidence everywhere. Watch million ballots in swing states. Everybody knew there's massive voter fraud, and it's an evil world. But they will let it go, baby, go, baby. This
I just know Baja's gonna be mad at me later, too, for playing Danzy, because she hates it so much.
election was stolen.
Okay, that's the last one I'll play for the day. I promise. That's it. That's enough Danzy. I'm sorry. I can't not. I can't not. I missed bits. Sorry, Andrew. Let me go and find them. Only a minute and a half left on the level 5 hype train. We gotta do it. We must. Hold on, I gotta try and find the... Andrew Batella with 20 bits. My first thought was, you're way too early today. Then I remembered that it's the 2 weeks in March where Europe has started DST, but the US hasn't yet. We changed our clocks the other day. 99% of the level 5 hype train. Oh, we did it. Unconditional Prong says, for you to watch. It's within TOS, so you can watch it. That's... Oh, I already have this pulled up. Because you sent it earlier. RTK142 with 20 bits says, your fans hate it, your girlfriend hates it. Math should be done. Are you telling me to bow to peer pressure? That's the opposite of what I was told in high school, okay? Dare was very clear about this. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits says, sweet, came in at the end of Danzy. Tabby Sue to you, thanks for the 500 bits. Dare to Beam, thanks for subscribing at tier 1. Cast Iron Pan, thanks for gifting 2 subs. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. Steve with a Q with 100 bits. Zorgnax, thanks for gifting a sub. Mike Max 321 with 20 bits says, every time you put Danzy, you're giving me some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make vibes. Baja says, put on your purple witchy hat. Can do. I haven't worn this one on stream in a while, so that's fair. God, it just barely doesn't fit. Like, it's a little bit too small. It's fine, though. Not the most flattering to my bangs in this hat, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, it's fine. Every time we go over level 5, can you not play Danzy the next day? You'll have all the money. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. Negative reinforcement? Sure. Cast Iron Pan, thanks for gifting a sub. Nick says, I put on my robe and wizard hat. I can't get the camera where I want. That's closer, I guess. I don't know. RTK142 says, just saying, at the very least, if I had a girlfriend and she asked me not to do something, I'd listen to her. It depends on the thing. Danzy's special to me, and I think Baja understands that. She doesn't. She doesn't understand that. I love you, Baja. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the stream. I tortured you with Danzy. I took your money. Now I should probably entertain you, huh? Daddy Sume says he doesn't consent. Great. Baja was here earlier. She might be doing other stuff, though. I'm not sure. Daddy Sume says, I do not create joinder! Oh, remember Amon Bundy? Amon Bundy was one of the guys who took over that federal building some years ago and, like, wouldn't leave. Remember him? He's back in the news. Let me see if I can find the video. I'm trying to find the best version of the video. Probably this one. He got arrested. Again. Nick says, and now for the lightning bolt of the legal world. And Thrash Mio says, good and bad news. Friend got catcalled. Affirmation and rudeness. Yeah, that's always complicated. At least in terms of, trans people. So, here he is getting arrested at the courthouse. The context for this is he and his group of followers did some sort of protest somewhere. I don't know the specifics. But anyway, he I think was summoned to court for a trespassing charge or something like that. He showed up to the court. He showed up to the court and refused to wear a mask. I don't remember which state this is in, but the Supreme Court of that state has issued a mandate that within court buildings, within state courthouses, masks are mandated, except for specific circumstances, like if you're testifying, you can take your mask off on the bench or wherever, whatever they call the place where the person talking sits next to the judge. I think at the like plaintiff and defendant tables, you can maybe take them off. I don't know the specifics, but anyway, there's a mask mandate for the courthouse. Amon refuses to wear a mask. They won't let him into the courthouse, of course, because it's a mandate. And because of this, he gets a failure to appear to his court date charge, and they issue a bench warrant and arrest him here right on the spot. So let's take a look at this. Lost Sauce, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the community. Much appreciated.
Is Aaron close by? Yeah, Aaron's right there. You want me to get him?
Yeah, get him over here. There's Aaron right here.
Stone Corbell, thanks for subscribing 9-month streak. That's a stream baby. Rachel. This stream baby's name is Rachel.
That's all. The marshal
They closed the lobby. They're sending the clerks home.
Make sure that you're here so you can.
Oh, here's the guy.
Oh, so I'm here. Are they saying I'm not here now?
Where's John?
Mr. Bundy?
He's also wearing a cowboy hat, because of course he is. Of course I say that wearing a silly hat, but I don't wear this hat outside, I wear it for streams. In the same way Jake doesn't wear a corn suit in his day-to-day life, you know? There's different rules on the internet.
Yeah. It's now signed by the judge.
Yeah.
You'd like to step inside if you would, sir?
I'm not going to assist you in your oppression.
What's that?
I'm not going to assist you in your oppression.
Okay. Mr. Schmidt, Juan Schmidt?
Can you get a case?
Aaron?
I can't hear you.
Juan Schmidt?
Yeah, this is me.
We have a warrant for your arrest as well. Would you like
What was the reason?
stay to appear?
I'm here.
I understand that.
We've been here.
You wouldn't let him
Hey,
in.
you guys are here. You guys don't know.
So again, getting charged with failure to appear in court, because he would refuse to wear a mask and they won't let him in without a mask because them's the rules. Melted Snowcaps, thanks for subscribing at tier 1 for 3 months in advance. Nice, I appreciate that.
Stand there here.
We're actually a little ahead of the curve in terms of gift subs and subs for the month. We're at 173. That's a little over 10 a day on average. That's pretty good. We're probably going to make our sub goal this month.
They want him to step in to arrest him, but they won't let him step in to go to jury.
We can't hear you.
I'm here.
Take your mask off.
We're not going to argue. You have a warrant, $10,000 warrant.
You're breaking God's law.
You're going to come in?
Why can't you do it out here?
So you're going to ask them to come in without a mask on to arrest them?
Zornaz,
exactly what they said.
thank you.
No.
That the court shall be freely open to the public.
That's right.
You want to know the orders that the commissioners put on the judge?
Oh, this is going to get really loud a little bit later when he gets arrested, by the way. The crowd freaks out because they're like weird culty followers of his. So, warning for that. Going to be some people screaming.
In writing.
The court shall be open to the public.
That's an unlawful arrest.
You're violating that law.
If you're going to arrest him out here. Don't take him in.
Every 5 subs over the sub goal should be a day without Danzy. That's not bad. I kind of like that.
Go that way.
So that's what I'm talking.
Arrest him out here.
He's here. He's here. How can you say he's not here?
Who dis crazy man? Amon Bundy is a... I'll just pull up his Wikipedia. It'll be easier. Amon Edward Bundy is an American anti-government militant and activist. A car fleet manager by profession, Bundy gained widespread attention by leading the 2016 occupation of Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. He is the son of rancher Cliven Bundy, who was the central figure in the 2014 Bundy standoff regarding unpaid grazing fees on federal-owned public land. That was about... the government owns a lot of land, you know, and a lot of it's empty just because they're not doing anything with it currently. So they were charging ranchers, like Amon and his family, a fee, and then they could bring their cattle, or livestock that eat grass onto the property, and they could have them graze, on the property for like a fee, a presumably reasonable fee because they're not really doing anything with the land anyway. And Amon and his family were like, no, we don't want to pay the fee, even though it's not their property. They felt entitled to it. So they took over, like, a national park, like federal property building, and occupied it with guns and stuff. One of the people there got shot by the police, and I think they died. They were basically using women and children as human shields. It was really disgusting. So, yeah, that's this guy. And he got off with a slap on the wrist. Like, he's out, you know? So this is him in another incident.
When you're talking to him, we've been here.
I am not the judge. I did not sign the warrant.
But don't matter. You took an oath just like they did.
The judge.
The commissioner was even here saying that it was illegal.
Stand against the judge. You took an oath to stand against the judge.
He's basically a right-wing fundamentalist terrorist type.
What about the Constitution?
That's why you took the oath.
I am part of 3 branches of government. I am not in the judicial branch.
So stand up for the
people. Exactly.
You're in the executive branch. To check and balance the judicial.
That's exactly
That's
right.
exactly right. That's why you take an oath. To stand against the judge. You know that is true. This is unlawful. I've come to a Piers.
He's here. He's here.
The guy they're talking to currently, I think, is, he works for the sheriff's department. He's the under-sheriff, which I'm not sure the actual definition of. Oh, it's just another word for a deputy sheriff. So, this guy, deputy sheriff that they're talking to right now. Sheriffs are sort of the arm of the court, so to speak. If the court needs someone arrested or if the court needs some action taken like this, sheriffs are the ones typically doing it. Nam Serena, thank you for subscribing. RTK142 says, can we, like, find a way to distinguish those white people from the rest of us who aren't horrible? I mean, Amon is a fucking terrorist, so there's your distinction.
We're just asking you to do the right thing.
You can be arrested for
We've been here since. When are you guys going to have to stand up? You guys have to stand up and say, we're not going to arrest him. This is ridiculous.
No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. No.
I'm trying to move
Oh, here comes the screaming because they're arresting him. Thrash Mio says, I certainly don't want the surname Bundy. Yeah. Someone call the police! He's being arrested by the police! Mark Zuckerberg 240, thank you for subscribing for 6 months. 6-month streak. America's going great, by the way.
Get back. Hey. Retreat!
They arrest multiple of these people. I don't know how many, but I know on top of Amon, at least one other person I know got arrested in this situation too for resisting the cops and trying to fight them. I don't know about the other people though.
Retreat!
Bardlock Moses says if this was a Black Lives Matter protest, there would be blood right now. Yep.
Awake and be men! Be men! Don't be bullies! Fucking bullies!
Your boss said retreat!
Thank you, sir. I'm only doing what my boss tells me.
I'll do anything I'm told. I'll kill a man. I'll stomp down a pregnant woman. I don't care.
You'd think our throat would hurt at this point, right?
The sheriff came out saying that that was a warrant for Alan Bundy's arrest for failure to appear, and of course he was right here all morning long. I've been right with him all morning long.
Loud noises!
But they would not let him in the courthouse.
It basically just goes on like this. There are some different angles. Here's a different angle. Same deal.
This is in Boise, Idaho at the Ada County Courthouse.
Oh no, Jake used to live in Boise.
Presence, basically, there was an us here since 8 o'clock to wear a mask inside these. Anyways, court judge issued a warrant for their arrest.
These are all from his personal YouTube channel, by the way. He has more subscribers than me, which I'm not a fan of. So go subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hannah Reloaded. Let's see what he has to say about this, okay? Because I'm sure he has some sort of dumb justification. I feel like if you're in a car, like if you want to wear a cowboy hat, that's fine. Jokes aside, like people's personal style, that's completely their own choice. If you want to wear a cowboy hat, I do not care. But I feel like you take off a cowboy hat when you get in the car. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm in the car. Boop. Put it on the seat next to you or whatever. I just feel like driving in a cowboy hat feels uncomfortable. In my defense, I'm not a cult leader. Just an aspiring one. RTK142 says, I'll stomp down a pregnant woman, I don't care, end quote. America, ladies and gentlemen, and NBs of distinction. I hate this country sometimes. Only sometimes. I remember those days.
Spending 30 hours or so in the Ada County Jail. It's a pretty miserable experience, but one that I'm becoming familiar with. Yeah, and
Bardlock Moses says a lot of cowboys were freed slaves looking for work. I don't know anything about it. It's interesting, though.
you know, maybe I instigated it. Maybe it was my fault, right? I'm sure that's what a lot of people might be thinking.
It was your fault. You should have put on a stupid fucking mask, you man-child.
Don't go to jail without being your fault. So let me tell you the story. I'll tell you a little bit. So back in August, I went to the Capitol building. They were having a special session. Governor Little was trying to pass an immunity bill that would protect him legally from any COVID decision that he and his staff has made. So people's rights and other organizations were wanting to show that the people weren't happy with that. And so I got a message through the People's Rights Network, showed up at the Capitol building on the 24th, and they tried to lock the doors to the House gallery. And of course the people weren't very happy with that. Ultimately, pushed their way in. I was there. I certainly wasn't leading the effort, but I was there. But of course, just because of the situation, they wanted to say that I was the one leading it. And
I find that pretty hard to believe, considering you showed up to court with a posse of people willing to fight the police after you got arrested lawfully. I would imagine at whatever protest you were at, and he has the right to protest peacefully whether I like the guy or not. If he wants to show up somewhere and genuinely just stand there and protest, fine. I think he's a dick, but he's allowed to do that. But, like, if it got violent, I find it pretty hard to believe that you had no part in that, and your people who follow you around like a weird posse. I find it incredibly hard to believe that you were not a part of that in some way.
I wasn't even at the very beginning of it. I wasn't even there in the front or anything.
As we all know, in order to lead a crowd of people, you need to geographically be in the front of them. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Loopholes.
And but it was the right thing also, because our legislatures don't have a right to lock the Capitol buildings during the legislative session. In fact,
I mean, we're in a public health crisis, so if they're locking down government buildings and only allowing people in currently who are need to be in there because of COVID, understandable.
The Idaho Code makes it very clear that when the legislative session is going on, the Capitol building has to be open. So anyway, things worked out that way. Okay, Speaker of the House came out and ended up, consenting to let everybody in, and ended up being a pretty good day. Had committee hearing on the bill, and people were able to testify. And I was actually only going to be there about about an hour. I was only going to be there at the Capitol building, maybe an hour and a half. So I had another meeting. I was going to leave, but ended up staying longer because I was a little concerned about the situation. And I am getting to, my arrest here. It happened yesterday, and pretty crazy stuff.
Nick says, also, you remember the Capitol incident? They don't want idiots like that getting mad and trying to kill them. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo also says, actually, as someone who used to hang around cowboys, can confirm cowboys have a courtesy rule, so they almost always take their hat and place it on the seat next to them when driving. Usually passengers are in the back seat unless there are too many, in which case someone holds the hat so it doesn't bleach in the sun. Those hats are expensive. Good to know.
Anyway, so I go home that night after being at the Capitol building, and the next morning had a completely different plan. I was going to do several different things, but I felt that I was to go to the Capitol building again, and felt like the force there was, building, and I felt like I needed to go. So I get up.
What hat am I wearing? It's some hat someone sent me in a P.O. box thing. If you ever want to send me hats, go ahead, by the way. I enjoy hats. Purple's my favorite color. The P.O. box command is just like exclamation point P.O. box. But, I don't know. This is just one someone sent me. It's a little too small, but it's a one-size hat, so there's no other option.
I was going to go to the Capitol building, and I went, but I didn't think much of it. And we go into the committee. Well, first of all, when I was about 40 minutes.
Do I already have a purple Kangol? What's a Kangol? Briar Rose 1984. Thanks for subscribing with a 1-month streak.
Early for the hearing at the Capitol building. I actually thought it was a half an hour.
What size hat do I wear? That's a good question. God, I hope there's a tag in this. This is 61 centimeters. I could probably do to be even a little bit bigger than that, but this hat is 61 centimeters. And I actually measured my head for this, but it's a little tight, but it's around about there.
Earlier than it was, and when I walked down the Lincoln or the hallway to the Lincoln Auditorium, and then
I don't know what 61 centimeters means in actual hat size, but that's what it is.
Capitol basement, that's where the hearing was. It was probably 20 to 25 ISP officers, Idaho State Police officers, and they were congregating and kind of pointing, and it looked to me as if they were making some type of plan. And when they saw me, I caught them off guard, and they all just kind of dissipated. They all just kind of went their different ways, literally just scattered. And I went in and sat down. Took several minutes before the meeting started. And it was just set up exact same way it was the day before. You have the media on one side in the press box, and you have, the chairman and the committee, and you have the people, and it was pretty much set up the same way. And right as the meeting started, the sergeant at arms goes down to the side of the room and onto the stage, if you will, and
this has basically nothing to do with his arrest yesterday.
Whispers something in the ear of the committee chairman, which his name was Greg Cheney. And all of a sudden, the committee chairman stops the meeting, and he points to these two people that were sitting in the press box and says, you can't sit there. You haven't got credentials. And they were independent media. They were working for small networks.
If they were working for networks, even if they're small, then they should probably be able to get actual press credentials.
And they were there the day before, and I don't know why the issue was brought up, but for some reason the chairman said they couldn't sit there. So they
probably because they didn't have press credentials, which are a thing.
Stood up and began to just, hey, we've got our credentials right here, and question. And it wasn't, not even a minute, just seconds.
He probably got released in a day because he paid bail.
All those 20 to 25 ISP officers come file order down the middle of the...
Like, his family owns a ranch. They're certainly not impoverished.
Lincoln Auditorium, and go and arrest those independent media. And the people were like, what in the world's going on? Especially after what happened the day before, and now this. And I could see very clearly that...
Why did it cut off like that? That's pretty incompetent, even by his standards. Interesting. So yeah, that's a recent thing that happened to Amon Bundy. Kind of wondering what it'll take to get him actually thrown in prison, because he's a piece of shit that breaks the law regularly. But whatever, I guess.
You may have seen the latest upsetting video of yet another Asian American being attacked. Over the weekend, an Asian Uber driver was coughed on by a woman who even ripped off his mask.
It was all-out war in an Uber over a mask. 3 women are hassling the driver because he says one of them refused to wear a mask. Watch as she does the unthinkable, coughing on the driver. Then the irate woman grabs his phone and rips off his mask.
You don't touch my property!
The driver says he even drove them to a gas station so she could buy a mask when they first got into his vehicle.
I never said anything bad to them. I never cursed.
So, who is the woman in question? We've learned she has dozens of modeling pictures on Instagram. Today, she is apparently admitting her outrageous behavior.
All I did was take his mask off and cough a little bit, but I ain't even have...
Oh, she sounds incredibly intelligent, doesn't she? RTK142 says the rain is gone? I don't know what that means. Towing24 says, I got $20. It was One America News Network. If so, Idaho court smarter than the White House. Princess Amelia, thanks for subscribing with a 3-month streak.
have corona. He lucky as hell I ain't have nothing on me.
She claims the driver was trying to force them out of the car. Police are investigating the incident.
In a statement, Uber called the behavior in the video appalling, adding that the woman no longer has access to their app, and Lyft has banned her too.
Good. Kezi Stardust 12, thanks for subscribing with 2 months. What a trashy woman. Seriously. Ridiculous. What is wrong with people? Oh god, Houston police shoot a 1-year-old child in the head while pursuing a robbery suspect? How do you even do that?
On March 3rd, I was pumping gas at Chevron.
This is almost certainly going to be a major, warning. I'm sure this is going to be heartbreaking and terrifying and awful. It's not like footage of that happening, to my knowledge, or anything. It's just going to be, I think, news story on it and the mom reacting, but we can skip this one. That's pretty dark even for this stream. So we can probably just not. Never mind. We don't need that today. We don't need that today. Good vibes. Good vibes. Oh, getting chased by a bear in front of a Kia Motors. Oh no! Oh, that poor bear! No! I didn't read the whole title before I clicked on that video. I didn't know the bear was gonna get hit by a bus.
That's the word.
Bro, can you call her again, please? Can you call her? Can you call her? Please. Please, can you call her again? Please, can you call her? Can I talk to her?
She's having a tantrum because she got caught stealing, and her mom was tired of her shit and refused to pick her up. So we had to turn her over to SFPD.
I've never seen an actual person this old have a literal temper tantrum like that.
The word.
Bro, can you call her again?
I did see the Elliot Page thing. He looked great. Good for him. Fresno 12, thank you for extending your tier 1 subscription through September. Wow. That is a very much ahead of time subscription. I appreciate that. Thanks for the confidence in the longevity of the channel. I'll be around in September. Unless something terrible happens. And then this clip will be incredibly foreboding and creepy.
Anyway, we got 27 good. Whoa! I looked at as soon as my eyes shift off of her. See how smart this snake is? The second I shifted my eyes off, she knew that I wasn't ready to jump. Almost smoked me. That is incredible. So, that was crazy. You guys just saw one of the closest strikes I've had in a long time. Anyway, we got 27 good. Whoa!
Ooh, that would have been bad.
Trash talking was so good you actually dropped an F-bomb before the game here when I interviewed you, and so I've just been informed that you've actually been fined $15,000. And it's okay though, because it's going to a good cause. It's going to Cyber Smile. Do you take back the F-bomb, or you're standing by it?
So if I say it again, I have to pay another $15K?
Yeah, you want to up it to 30,000?
Fuck it.
Trash talking was so good you actually dropped an F-bomb before.
pretty emblematic, though. It is funny, but it's also pretty emblematic of the fact that you can become rich enough that consequences mean nothing to you. Mm.
Bow to me, or you will go back to fuck you where you came from. I'm gonna bow to you. Well, bow to me. Oh, you refuse? Go back where you came from. You get nothing. I own this place. I own all the gas stations, and you get nothing. Asians, nothing. Go back to where you came from. Did I just got her? But she can't do it to me. No, God's not gonna give the power to anybody who would like that. Why would Jesus Christ give anybody the power who acts like that? Entitlement, selfish, greedy. No. We're the crazy rich Mexicans now.
Is that lady on drugs?
You're just Asian.
She kind of sounds like she's on drugs.
You're Asian. Go back to your Asian. That's what Mr. Dr. Stratton's.
Killjoy102 with 100 bits says, Mark Cuban clip reminds me of the fact that in Finland, all fines are based off a percentage of your income from the previous year. Probably a good move. That sign says, make public sex legal. Jesus Christ. This campus is worse than I thought. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Oh, did you see these pigeons murdering another pigeon?
No, what?
They, like, push him in front of a train.
No, no way they're gonna kill this pigeon. Yo! Yo! Oh! Hey! No, what? Hold on. Nah, they killed the pigeon. No, no way they're gonna kill this pigeon. Yo! Yo!
You know, I think that was on purpose. I think those pigeons had a beef against that other pigeon, and I don't know why. I don't know what pigeon beef looks like, but that's the end result. Otaku X says, make public sex legal. Screw that. Make public sex mandatory. Here's a woman calling the police on Taco Bell because they ran out of nacho fries.
You just cussed the whole night around.
You're not doing your job. 16? Is that how you talk to a 16-year-old? Is it really? Is it really? How old are you? Does she talk to you like that?
Oh, the daughter looks dead inside.
Don't address my daughter. Teeny boppers.
She called them teeny boppers. Mike Max with a link. Oh, I can't play this. This is a clip from a TV show. Roman Civilian with 100 bits says, good feather. Was that... What was the Animaniacs segment where they were pigeons, but they were the mafia? Was it that? It was something similar to that. Good feathers. This guy stealing a TV outruns the cops.
Oh, watch it back.
I'm not in favor of larceny. I don't think you should steal a TV. But if you're going to steal a TV, this guy was pretty good at it. He outran the cops. I don't know if they'll catch him later, but... With a TV, too. That's impressive.
Yeah, bust him out! Oh, damn! They goofy! They better bust him out! Oh, watch it back! Oh, my! Oh, bust him out! Oh! Oh!
Really? Oh. Wow. I've never been in a fight, but I feel like I could throw a better punch than that. That's pretty weak sauce.
He kicked his skateboard at me. Oh, yeah? Stop resisting. Don't break my wrist. Stop.
Stupid asshole.
2 and 3, what is it? Oh my god!
Look at there.
That's a bass.
That's a big old bass.
Oh yeah. Just let him get tied. Just let him get tied.
Let him, you got him.
Oh my flip.
Yeah, just.
Oh my god!
Keep him coming.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Keep him, bring him to me.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Bring him to me.
I'm trying to bring him,
Don't you come off, girl.
Yeah!
I just beat your record.
Yes, sir!
Just beat his record.
Woo! Wow, baby!
Thanks, Pseudo Sapien.
The chicken's waking up.
Appreciate the modding.
Get him in the boat.
Wow, that is a huge fish. I don't even like to fish, but that was kind of cute. What is this? Anti-drug commercial for methamphetamine.
Busy as a bee, where'd I get all this energy?
Oh my god, did they put this through? What did they put this through in order to Pseudo Sapien says, sorry, my laptop and everything is a tad slow to Oh, it's fine. I'm glad you did it at all. I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh man, man, I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street. Oh man, man, get these hairs all out of my face, get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh man, man. Look at me, busy as a bee. Where'd I get all this?
This is the same thing twice in a row.
Energy. Oh man, man, I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street. Oh man, man, get these hairs all out of my face, get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh man, man.
It's catchy. Now I want some refreshing meth. Don't do meth. Don't do meth.
Last night I was contacted by several parents whose children attend this school, Haggard Middle School in Plano, Texas. They were so outraged. I'm not going to use any names in this video because then it can't be struck for harassment or bullying. But the school in question is Haggard Middle School in Plano, Texas. And the situation was a little boy, a person of color, was forced to drink 4 of his white teammates' urine while they stood around him and screamed, cry, N-word, cry. And
what the fuck?
Caught it all on video. Several parents that attended the school are outraged because the school board, the school, and the police department haven't done enough to seek justice for this little boy. So I am asking you all to screen record this video as well as duet it and get it as far as you can this morning so they cannot take it down.
Jesus Christ. Oh, these kids are great.
It is.
These kids are climbing a tree, you know, how children do. And this Karen is like, get off the tree. You're not allowed to have fun. I bet this is the same kind of lady that complains, like, kids these days, they just stay inside and play video games. And then when she actually sees kids outside climbing a tree, like children do, she's gonna freak out on them.
It is. It's on my friend's property. Right there.
It's not illegal to be in here, so. Get off of the tree. It belongs to this street and this neighborhood.
Okay, so it's public is what you're saying, and these kids have every right to
One
climb
day.
it? Cool.
We don't want kids on it. Why do you think these poles are there to help it?
Because
my great grandpa bought those. Running on it. Please get down.
We're not jumping around and running on it.
Get my family and see what they say about it.
We're sitting on it.
I don't want you to even sit on it. Well, I'm gonna go get my grandpa and see what he says. You fine? Go get your grandpa. Should I?
Yeah.
Just keep filming, okay? So where do you live? Who's your parents?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, you can't tell me that.
I can't. Because that's my personal, that's my information.
Oh, that's your personal information?
Yeah. How'd you like it if a random stranger came up to your kid and asked them where they lived?
This kid's my goddamn hero.
Look, kid. I have asked you nicely to come down from there. Where do you live? I want to talk to your parents.
I'm not going to tell you where I live.
Then I'll ask them when they come back. You are just a little shit. Just
Get fucked, lady. Are there other parts? It said part 4 coming soon, so I'm curious if there was ever an update. I'm not seeing any update or anything in the comments, which is a shame, but... You're just a little shit. RTK142 says, every stream baby will grow up to be like these kids. I hope so.
God's favorite number! 69!
You see, Piers Morgan walked off set of Good Morning Britain after he got like confronted.
Amount of negative press,
and I think he left working for them after this.
You know, I watched the program yesterday, and yes, they had some great press around the wedding. But what press is going to trash someone's special day? There was bad press around the engagement, before the engagement, and everything that has followed since has been incredibly damaging, quite clearly to Meghan's mental health and also to Harry. And I hear Piers say that, you know, William has gone through the same thing. But do you know what? Siblings experience tragedy in their life, and one will be absolutely fine and brush it off, and the other will not be able to deal with it so strongly. And that's clearly what has happened with Prince Harry in this situation. He walked behind his mother's coffin at a tender age in front of the globe. That is going to shape a young boy for the rest of his life. So I think that we need to all take a step back. And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this programme. A number of times, and I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No, no, no.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not my own
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do
This
this.
is absolutely diabolical behaviour. I'm sorry, but Piers spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch. Incredibly hard to watch.
What a loser. This one I think is pretty classic, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Student calls out teacher for not caring about teaching.
Go off on kids, because they don't freaking get this crap. If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that. They need to learn face to face. You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious and you're too late.
wasting my time.
No, I'm not wasting your time. I'm telling you what you need to do.
Get out.
You want kids to come into your class, you want them to get excited for this, you got to come in here, you got to make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better, you got to touch his freaking heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him. You gotta take this job serious. This is the future of this nation. And when you come in here, like you did last time, and make a statement about, oh, this is my paycheck, indeed it is. But this is my country's future and my education.
I respect that. Can you go outside, please?
But there's a limit. When I'm not bitching, but simply making an observation.
Okay.
And now I will leave. You're welcome.
Good, bye.
And if you would like, I'll teach you a little more so you can actually learn how to teach a freaking class. Because since I got here, I've done nothing but read packets. So don't try and take credibility for teaching me jack.
Just go. Bye. Close the door.
Little baby.
Pretty good. Nick says, and that kid's name was Albert Einstein. EO180 says, for Paddy's Day, a sketch from one of my favorite Irish comedy groups. Depends on what it is. Is this from a TV show? I'm iffy. I'm iffy on if this is okay to play. I want to be safe and say no just in case. Sorry. It's in the chat, though, if anyone else wants to watch it. Mike Mack says, other teachers be like...
What you say? What you say?
I said, whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe.
What you say? What you say?
Bardlock Moses says it's like you get what you pay for. 74 Quinn 74 with a link. This is music. I know of this person, and I know this song is ridiculous and stupid, but I can't play it, unfortunately. Otaku X says, I just noticed Hannah has a hat. Hatna. Nice. What is this?
Alex and Sam were
Someone sent this. What is this? Hold on.
Fucking around on
Does this have a cartoon penis in it later? Because I can't play that, even if it's a cartoon penis.
their phones.
Why don't we take a selfie? Yeah.
Okay, I'll play it, but with no visual.
Sam had an idea.
I'll take a picture.
What if they sent a picture of Alex's willy to their friend Katie? You know, the kind that disappears in a few seconds. When Katie saw it, she thought it was very funny. So she screen grabbed the picture and sent it to her friends. And they sent it to theirs. And the next day at school...
Newsflash! The world sees Alex's willy.
Alex even got a message from a bully. He then got one from a man he didn't know. Sometimes children share things they shouldn't online. And the effects
It's his grandma! His grandma saw his penis!
can be devastating. Help keep your child safe. Search Share Aware.
It's a little funny in the sense that it's just wild that that's a PSA that you got to make. But let me give you an example. Someone I knew because my mom was friends with this person. The friend had a daughter who was, when I was in college, she was in, I think, middle school, early middle school or something like that. And something similar happened to her. She, like, sent a topless picture to some fellow student or something, and that kid sent it to, like, everyone in school, and she was just devastated, and you know. So it's good to teach kids, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's child pornography, even though it's your body. Don't do that. And, yeah. What's this one? Someone sent this. The following is an independently produced public access program. The viewpoints in this program do not necessarily express those of TELUS. What? Cupcake. Yes, it is. If an underage person takes explicit photos of themselves, that is CP. What are you talking about?
That's your prop.
What am I gonna do? Throw them in jail? Did I say that? I'm telling you legally how it works.
We start off by telling you that I don't know which side of the glass I'm on. Am I watching them? Or are they watching me? All I know for certain is that this is the world we've chosen to live in. God help us all.
Really focused on my career right now.
So you're not looking for anything serious?
That's not me, but does it matter? It's close enough. We're a generation that never learned how to love. And our economy is based upon debt. It always ends up in the same place.
I've put my resume out there a dozen different places. Nobody's calling me back.
Why is that?
I don't know, I can't even get an interview.
Because you're not trying.
I'm trying everything. I don't know what else to do. Maybe I should give Terry
The sound mixing is so bad. The music is way too loud.
call. See if you can get me a job out in the oil fields.
We already talked about this. You're abandoning me. I might as well be divorced if you do that.
Well, we don't want that.
Maybe I do.
Otaku X says, now I'm reminded that the Pink Ranger in the 2017 movie was in detention for distributing CP and people barely notice. What? Oh no. Yeah, I saw the meme. These two twin sisters both drank from the same cup used by someone with COVID-19. Same DNA, but one got COVID and the other didn't. Still think the government isn't involved. Google 2 girls 1 cup and learn more. Hashtag time to wake up. Everyone knows what 2 girls 1 cup is, though.
Maybe I'm tired.
So here we are at the end of history. The end of money. The end of hope. The end of purpose. The end of man and the end of woman.
Kimberly was in detention for sending nudes of a classmate to the guy. She like, oh yeah, I do remember that. Oh no.
Woman. Nothing to do then, but light a smoke and watch the fireworks go down. Enjoy the final decadent days of our once proud and mighty empire. Watch the leaves turn golden, and watch as they begin to fall.
No, that's not what I wanted. I didn't realize.
Look. You know what's gonna happen if we show up late? Okay, I don't have time for this. Come on.
Like, if he's going for noir, why is the saturation as high as it is? Like, this is not the visual look you go for if you're going for, like, a noir tone.
If you don't know how to love, all you understand is hate. Abuser, abused, two sides of the same coin.
Between Kimberly doing
So
that
don't go
and
asking
Jason
for a better
jerking
world
off a
than
bull
this,
off
because
screen, that was a
this
weird
is the
movie.
world we chose.
Yeah.
This
I think they're doing another Power Rangers movie, but they're rebooting it, so hopefully that one will be better.
Is the world we deserve.
Oh, good evening, ladies.
Aren't we all dressed up?
So we get her done in the country.
Oh, so what you're saying is you know how to get things done?
Oh yeah, I know how to get things done. In fact, that's my catchphrase. Get her done.
Ooh, I think the actress in the hat spiked the lens real hard.
So, do you know the city well?
A victim for every victimizer, and a victimizer for every victim.
Baba. Your new name is Baba.
What? My name's not Bubba.
No, it is. It's Baba now. Can we go now? Why? I like him. He's such a nice guy. Yeah, I mean, you'll buy us ladies some drinks, won't you, Baba?
Sure, why not?
You owe me.
Hedonism always turns out the same. Without love, all you've got is sex. And if all you've got is sex, you've got to keep upping the ante or else it gets boring. And when you run out of new things to try, it always ends up in the same place.
This is so goddamn pretentious.
Music in the right audience.
There you are.
Did he just want to write a monologue about how much he hates society? So he thought noir was the best way to give him a monologue?
What are you doing with this twerk? Huh?
Who you calling twerk, buddy?
You, pal, you. Oh, band. That's nice. You play the skin flute?
No, is that the kind of band you're looking to get into?
No, man. We gotta get the hell out of here. Just get out of here. Yeah? What do you think you are, man?
Who are you?
Talking to my woman like that? Huh? Talking to my woman like that?
Sexual sadism.
Get out of here.
We've become nothing but a bunch of well-dressed apes. We don't know how to get out of this rut. And here's the tragic thing.
This takes place in the same universe as John Doyle's intro. Canon. That is canon.
If you can't help yourself, nobody else can help you either.
Have one, cheapskate. Got some spare change?
What? What's wrong with you? Why don't you have a job?
Ah, you stupid cow.
The thing I hate most about seeing the powerful abuse the weak
What did you just call me?
You heard me.
is knowing that the weak did something to deserve it.
Worthless scum.
This is the end state of our materialist faith. Capitalism turned innovators into land rapers, and socialism turned charity into oppression.
He just wants to grill!
But whichever side of the looking glass you're on, whether you're out there with the beasts and monsters, or you're just watching them through the glass, don't for one moment think you're better than they are. Because when you do, that's when your own sins catch up with you.
Hardlock Moses says, the cringe, it hurts
With love
us.
and hope gone, you sublimate your desire.
Did I hear about the Powerpuff Girls remake where they're in their 20s and are mad they lost their childhood to crime fighting? Yeah. Yep. It's gonna be a disaster. I'm excited to watch the first episode and then never watch it again.
They always turn into the same thing, though. Wrath
What? Why are they fighting now?
and violence. You can try and run. Sometimes that even works for a little while. But you can never escape yourself. One after another, your demons assault you.
It's that guy just waiting under the bridge with
Fighting them off
weapons.
might be pointless, but fighting is all you know how to do. You weren't built for a world like this. You weren't built for a world of luxury.
It's almost done.
Your ancestor is the caveman who triumphed over the other.
Is this
Your
inspired by
ans-
Clockwork Orange? I haven't seen any drug milk yet, so no.
ancestor is the caveman who knew how to kill. It's the luxury of this world that turns everything foul. It's the luxury that makes us soft. It's the luxury that makes us cruel. What you need is a struggle. An enemy to overcome. It's
okay, I gotta skip ahead.
You
I'm very over this.
What you might. You'll never escape yourself.
What is the point of this?
But at the end of the day, it's not about winning. Virtue is found in the fight itself. To find something that's worth dying for.
What the fuck? Tries to be Tarantino, but he's Wizzo instead. Yeah? Yeah?
Hey, come on, man.
Bro, chill.
Hey, chill.
Hey, chill it.
She spit on him! Fuck her! Really? Oh, the poor racist lady got pushed on the ground. Well, don't spit on people. What the hell? Dad Buell says, my girlfriend just said that the Power Rangers dog video made more sense than Davis Arini's movie. I hope she didn't see the spitting and just was confused, because fuck that lady.
So we're at the front of ringside reception of the Channel 9 building.
White supremacist Thomas Sewell assaults black security guard? Yikes.
And Channel 9 runs the current fair show that will be on television. But they have decided to not come out. No one from Channel 9 has decided to come down and talk to me, but they will run the show tonight. But before they do, I'm going to upload this to make sure you guys can see it. That these people are cowards, they're vermin, they're rats.
What I want, bro. Yeah. You can't film in the building, I'm telling you right now. I'm filming. Please leave the building, okay? That makes both of you.
Now they've got security trying to remove us.
I'm sorry. Front, but get your hands off the camera. Go outside and film. Get your hands off the camera. All right? Go outside and film. Get your hands off the camera. I'm not going to say it again. Go outside and film. Get your hands off the camera. All right? It's our property. Get your hands.
Which line's that?
Pass that green line right up there. That white line, you go out there and film. Not here. All right?
Yeah, so now he's acting like
Dance, monkey, dance. Watch yourself, bro. I'm not a dance monkey. Watch yourself. You fucking touch me.
Seriously? Wowzers, what a trash bag.
What the fuck? Guys, get away.
Alright, you put your hands on him. That's right, guys. Just go back that way. Back off. Just go back that way.
What scum. I hope he got arrested.
So we're at the front of...
Trying to see if there's any... Did he get arrested or what? He wasn't even arrested. Jesus Christ. That's disgusting. Rublum says that dude was sentient trash. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Maybe this sounds interesting. It's an accountant reacting to Moorish sovereign citizens, talking about how they think they don't have to pay sales tax. I've not ever watched this person.
So like you see on all of these, what does that say? It says 2 for 99 cents. The sales tax is the business owner's responsibility. But a lot of these owners are not in compliance with federal law, and so it is our duty as the new Moorish American.
They don't usually put sales tax on the packaging in the United States because it varies by state.
To get these business owners that are doing business in our country in control.
Hey Pocket Watchers, welcome to Real Accountant Reacts, and today I will be reacting to a video of a Moorish national's attempt to not pay sales tax.
This is the second time that I've come in here to try to get something. And according to federal law, sales tax is supposed to be the business owner's responsibility. And a lot of us have...
I mean, it is, but then they pass that on to you, and then the what that basically means, to my understanding, and this guy's an accountant, so he'll probably go into it in a more educated way, but like, yes, the merchant collects the sales tax and actually gives that to the government, but there's nothing that says they don't charge you the sales tax. They add the sales tax to your bill, you give that to them, and then they make sure that money gets to the government. They pay the sales tax, but they're charging you the sales tax initially. Does that make sense?
A lot of us have forgotten what the de jure government has ordained. So like you see on all of these, what does that say? It says 2 for 99 cents. The sales tax is the business owner's responsibility. But a lot of these owners are not in compliance with federal law. And so it is our duty as the new Moorish American to get these business owners that are doing...
Yeah, this mic is awful. Winter O'Hare, thank you for subscribing with a 10-month streak, says, first time I can watch live in a bit. I'm glad I can listen while trying to box train 2 kitties. Glad you could make it.
Business in our country in control. Because this is absolutely ridiculous. I had $1.04 for a $1 pack of cigars, and this guy doesn't want to sell them to me.
Yeah, because you need to pay sales tax. Whatever state you happen to live in, surely you know about sales tax by now. Like, I'll give you an example. Like McDonald's. McDonald's sometimes has a promotion where it's like, or maybe it's all the time now, I don't remember, where it's like, any size drink for 99 cents. Now, I understand because I know what sales tax is, I know what state sales tax is. 99 cents equals I need $1.05 because I live in Michigan where the sales tax is 6%. You should know that. You should know the sales tax in your state and be able to calculate it pretty easily.
It's not foolishness. This is my country, and
is he like carrying around a jug of orange juice and drinking it directly out of the jug?
Actually, you're not supposed to be charging anyone tax. Anyways, this is my country. You need to respect the laws of the land. You need to respect the laws of the land. You need to respect the laws of the land. You need to respect the laws of the land. That sales tax is not my responsibility. You need to. I am the motherfucking law on my land.
I am the law.
On my land, bitch. I'm the motherfucking law here. Not the police. Not the police, bro. Not the police, bro. This is my land. Your land, My land.
People shut the goddamn
My
store.
land.
My land.
My land, bitch.
Arenas3 says, it seems so backwards to me that the US doesn't just put the price you're going to pay on the shelf like we do in Europe. I guess I understand what you're saying, but it varies by state, so I don't know.
My land. And guess what? You are going to be reported to the government. You're going to be reported. This sales tax is your responsibility. It's your responsibility. Sales tax is your responsibility. Yeah, it's your responsibility. And the government's going to know about this. I'm headed downtown right now. They're going to know. Yeah, I don't need to call my uncles. I'm going to make sure that the law knows.
And that's a good point. I don't think sales tax applies to, like, groceries. Basically necessities. Like, how do I put this? Like, if I go buy a pound of hamburger at the store, I'm pretty sure you don't pay sales tax on that. You pay sales tax for prepared food at, like, a restaurant, but I could be wrong.
That you're out here.
Like, he's trying to buy cigarettes right now, so cigarettes are not only taxed with sales tax, but there's extra, like, vice taxes on top of that. So it just depends on the item.
Being petty as fuck on my land when you owe us back.
It also varies from state to state. Gotcha.
Sales tax. Sales tax is the responsibility of the business owner. Of the business owner. It won't be no next time because I'm definitely about to have your ass sitting in a federal court, you dumbass bitch.
He is a Moorish citizen, yes.
You dumbass bitch. You about to get reported, you dumbass bitch. Chevron about to put you out of business. I can't wait to see you standing in the unemployment line, bitch. How about that?
Okay, so just about everything.
Oh, I like that dude's glasses. Those are cool.
This guy said in the video is absolutely wrong, but for the sake of this reaction video,
Andrew Batella says, "L'Eloy de l'Etat c'est moi." I don't know what that means.
I'm going to try to stay focused on my reaction as an accountant and point out the things that he has wrong concerning the sales tax and how that works. Okay, so point number one, who's responsible to pay sales tax? Well, sales tax is a tax on the end user, the customer, not the business itself. Sales tax is supposed to be paid by the customer. So his very first point is totally backwards. So what ends up happening is the business owner, their responsibility in this situation is to collect the sales tax from the customer and then to remit it to pass it on to the State Department of Revenue, whatever state it is. And that brings me to point number two. He started talking about how they weren't complying.
Yeah, I watch Natalie Lawyer Chick. She's really great.
With federal law. Well,
her debates with Moorish citizens are always fun. That's interesting. There's a whole chart on where candy is taxable and where it isn't. Candy is tax exempt here in Michigan. Neat. Oregon and Montana have no sales tax, as well as New Hampshire. That's kind of neat. I assume they make up for it in property taxes or elsewhere, but interesting. This is from a specific episode of... Oh, that's got to be a reference to Godzilla. Godzilla did that once. I think it was when he was fighting King Kong. He did something very similar. Yeah, right here.
The federal law has nothing to do with sales tax because sales tax is a state law thing. There are some states that don't have sales tax, but apparently whatever state he's in does have sales tax, and it's the state law that governs sales tax, not the federal law. So he's completely off on that point. In fact, here in the state of Missouri, sales tax is roughly around 9%, depending on where you are. So basically, for every dollar that you pay, you have to add 9 cents to about 10 cents on it for sales tax. So we're not even talking about a large amount, because he was going into the store to buy something that was about $1. So at most he's paying, he's arguing over less than a quarter in tax. That's what he's arguing about. This whole scene that he's causing is over less than a quarter. So just keep that in mind. Lastly, I want to talk about why you may be able to find online some videos where this works. And the question is, well, why does it work sometimes and it doesn't work other times? Well, when it comes to the administration of collecting and remitting sales tax, it comes down to whatever cashier you have in front of you. Because what happens is there is an exemption to sales tax for certain nonprofit organizations. So if you have a nonprofit organization.
This is true, actually. When I worked at Toys R Us, a charity came in around the holiday season, and it was a charity that buys, I assume they collect donations of money, and then they came in and they bought just a ridiculous number of toys. I mean, I'm talking like 3 or 4 carts full of toys. It must have been thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It was actually pretty interesting. I luckily didn't have to ring them up, but I did watch because it was interesting and it was relatively slow. Anyway, the manager of the whole store had to come in and like put in special codes and stuff to remove the sales tax, specifically because they're a nonprofit organization that was exempt from paying sales tax on these items.
You're a 501c3 or you have a nonprofit status based on a religious basis, you can be exempt from sales tax. The mindset is because you're doing charitable work and the government wants to promote your charitable work, they will make you exempt from sales tax so that your resources, the money that you have from your donations or whatever, you can use them to maximize help. Because the concept is with the government is if you have a nonprofit organization that is supposed to be helping the public good, you want to support.
Wing the Ultimate Nug says, if I ever run a store, all tax will be on the item price. You know, weirdly, the only store I've ever been in that included all taxes on the price tag was a weed dispensary. I've been to weed dispensaries that the prices are all with the taxes and sales tax included. But I don't think I've ever been to a supermarket that does that. Maybe I just haven't noticed, though.
Support it. And the way you...
Although a lot of stuff at the supermarket is exempt anyway because it's like necessity food items, but you know what I mean.
And support it is by, one, make them non-taxable so that they can maximize the help that they're doing, because if you have a lot of nonprofit organizations in the community helping and supporting the community, then that's less of a burden on the government to do those services. So that's the compromise. And here is how these scammers can come in and convince a cashier that they don't have to pay. When it comes to the Moorish national sovereign citizens, whatever they want to be called, the actual root of the organization dates back to like 1913. And it is a American-styled Islamic community in the African-American space. And they, during their founding, really didn't have any tax protesting theology. That came much later from splinter groups. But because they live in this quasi-space of political and religious, if they can convince the cashier that they're a part of the religious fraction of the organization, then the cashier is used to religious organizations not being imposed to pay sales tax, and then they can actually walk away without paying sales tax. But it's not that the individual person doesn't have to pay sales tax. Individuals do. But what they can do is convince the cashier that they are representing the nonprofit religious organization in this transaction, and then they can avoid paying sales tax. All right, so thank you for watching.
Cool. Here's a link to this guy's channel. If you liked it, I just subscribed. He's under 1,000 subs, so he's relatively new, I would guess. Yeah, 4-month-old channel. Neato. I don't want to play a college humor video. I think I've seen this before, though. It's not bad, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't like me playing their video outright on my channel. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I'm Jewish. I support Palestinian human rights. 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 I'm Jewish. I support Palestinian human rights.
Wowzers. Those people were very angry. Nick says floof. That's, cute.
She will take you back to her dorm.
Oh, this is that lady from the previous video where she's like, this campus is worse than I thought.
She will take you back to her dorm room. And then her roommate will jump out of the closet naked chamber.
She has to be doing a bit, right? Like, she's too perfect. Nobody describes to a bunch of college students a threesome and expects them to be like, oh, a threesome? Oh no. She's gotta be a parody, right? Right? I don't know. Oh. They saved the cow.
Hello. What are you doing?
Your kitty matches your carpet color. Cute.
Let me know if you need a repeat.
Okay. Now, Mr.
Hi. So, we got the whole thing of like this racist thing. Okay, so how
this guy and I have the exact same set of teeth.
Can there be a zero racist? Okay, so let's
She isn't joking. I read a whole write-up about her on Fundy Snark Uncensored, and she's real. She met a weird campus preacher in college and decided to join him. If I remember correctly, they are also quiverful. Oh, God.
Explain it more like a block of 40. Okay, so there's a block of 40, and that's racism. The whole block of 40 is racism. Well, when you take away one of the block, you have 39. You have 39 blocks of racism left. Okay, well, when you get down to one racism block left, what would that be? My consideration of that whole thing would be the skin color. What you first see would be the first block. And maybe it's not, but still, there's a block there for skin color. And let's just say that was the last block that's the last block, is the skin color. And so that's the one of the 40th of the first of the 40 of the racist blocks.
I have no idea what he's getting to.
Okay, then you have zero. You have zero racism. Or you have the concept of zero racism, which would just be the base, the ground, where the racism is laid, which in upon itself is still racist, because it is still aligning itself with the racist endeavors and racist thoughts. It's getting it ready, it's preparing it, it's the privy of that racism. And so that's how racism can be explained. And another concept of racism is that the whole women's movement, that was for all women. And then out of the 3/3, out of the one of the 1/3, that was women. And then the...
What are the comments on this?
Other 1/3.
Andrew Batella says, so the lack of racism is racist? I don't know. I don't know what he's saying.
Men. Half of men. And then police brutality.
Okay.
Hey you guys, Drew Pidlon is Target Assistant. Hope you're having a good day. It's Sunday, and it's almost over. I'm having one of those unmotivated days. It is the Lord's Day, so today we're not really supposed to be doing anything at all. So, and I know that this is a weapon, this frequency. Every time this certain frequency is playing, I don't want to say it's a ring, but that's the only word in the English language to describe it. I can't even make the sound because it's like a ringing, but it's just in my head constantly, and that one frequency just puts me down, makes me unmotivated. Can't move, can't get up, can't get anything done. Just blah. We've been under serious, heavy assault. We've been in Sweetie's 7.
Okay, I'm already bored of that one. Is this the same guy?
Are you looking for action? How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery?
Hi everyone. Okay, so there's like these shows out there that are like Beastmen and how the animals are like humanoid kind of a thing.
So for my rights, so let's just get to the point and stuff. For my rights, I need to know.
Hello, Squid.
Recorded.
This is a one-party known state of recording, so only one party needs to know if it's being recorded.
Do you have a copy of it? Of the policy, company policy?
No.
No, you never got one?
No.
Okay. We'll make sure you get to it. Okay, so what's the issue now? Talk to me.
Well, what's immoral about a bra?
Why do you look
Because you're the only one that wears one.
The caption, if you didn't see, said apparently he sent a coworker some sort of text about a bra and she found it inappropriate, whatever it was, and now he's getting talked to by HR.
Okay, well.
Well, first of all, hold on. First of all, we're not talking about Marlene. All right, sir?
She's part of the company, so we're not talking about her specifically. You're right, but she is part of the company that's there supposed to affect this policy that is sexist and discriminatory.
How do you feel that way when you're the one that sent the text message and Mary 100% told you it felt inappropriate being a coworker?
And what did I do after that?
I know, you tell us.
Nothing. Because I saw the text message after the weekend on yesterday.
Yeah, because maybe
And yet I didn't do anything after that. All I did was share the information, and that's all I did.
Okay, maybe it took her a couple of days to figure, what am I going to do? I mean, sometimes it takes people a day or two to get their thoughts together. Maybe that's the reason why she chooses not to get back or felt uncomfortable getting back with you.
What are you talking about? She already got back with me.
She didn't get back to you 2 days after, right?
I never texted her after that.
So you're telling me is you sent that information to her, correct?
And then she sent that
How many days
that
did
they
she,
fill.
the same day?
Right. I believe so. I didn't really look at the dates, but I saw the text message yesterday. That was not what it says. It's discrediting this company and the employees and the superiors because of this shit.
Okay, whatever.
Get ready to soak up the sun, party all night, and learn the best dances Club Med has to offer. We're pleased to be working with the Club Med GO team. The GOs are a very special group of people who are in charge of making sure you have the best time possible on your vacation. I'm thirsty. Hey, Krista, what's going on?
It's Club Med. It's a beach party, Stacy.
What about living La Vida Loca?
Who says we can do both? Today we're gonna learn a very funny dance of Club Med, and we're gonna do it all together like a family.
We start out with a little introduction with a double pelvic thrust like this.
So we're gonna bring our little thumbs
1, 2,
down over here to our mouth.
thrust, thrust.
We're gonna bring the same little thumbs
And chop, 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 chop.
right over here to our mouth. Fantastic. And because we are party animals and we like to party, we have a herding cabeza, so we go. Very good. I feel that you are totally in control.
Thrust, thrust.
You are great, and I feel excited.
We do this a few times.
Then to your left, because the left side is jealous, so we go left.
Flick, flick,
Then right.
flick, flick.
I just love it, and you are good. But we're gonna make a triple combo clap. So it goes like this. Clack, 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 clack. Wow, fantastic. You are great.
And then you kind of boogie down a little bit.
I like it. Look how I am excited. We're gonna do a move that we call the monkey. Why we call it the monkey? We're gonna call it like that because it's an international way to call it.
Everyone got that?
So everybody together, we do the monkey. Right and left. Perfect. You are so good. We're gonna hear in the song something that sounds sangeho. What does it mean, Stacy? We still don't know, but because we are fantasies and a little bit crazy, we make a little jump. And now my favorite part. Exotic hip shot. We're gonna make the tequila boom boom, tequila boom boom, tequila boom boom, tequila boom boom. Monkey, a queen and shampoo. I want to combine it all together right now.
One of the most popular songs to hit Club Med is Livin' La Vida Loca. So we'd like to teach you a dance we've created to give you a taste of the crazy life. Well, that was fun.
Ah, those spots! They're on me! I wonder what I've got.
Maybe you've got the tweezles.
Tweezles? Oh, no, not the tweezles!
I better get out of here. This could be catching. Get well soon.
Then he needs a doctor.
Right.
Who are you, a doctor?
That's right.
I think I feel a little weak. Yes, and I think I have a fever. Yes. Oh,
That's nasty. 100 pieces of gold!
but I don't have any money.
Money? No!
Oh, I don't have it, I tell you.
Late payment! You're hereby fined an additional 200 pieces of gold! Just what do you think you're trying to pull here, spot face? You may deduct 1 piece of gold for medical expenses. Another 350 pieces of gold!
Please, oh, please, stop. I can't take any more.
Oh, me, oh my, where does the time go? I must be off. Oh, have a nice day. Bullying a sick person, 85 points. Oh, this is turning into a wonderful day.
Mike Mack says this is for the weird beach video.
Fucking white people.
Have you ever walked out of a mall into a huge parking area and realized you'd forgotten where you parked your car?
Ever gone mountain biking?
What do you want to be when you grow up? What's the right tip?
Have you called a plumber to your home lately? How superstitious are you?
How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery? Would you display this as a trophy? Do you have a pet? Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you believe in the power of a curse?
Have you had your hearing tested lately?
Planning a trip soon? Can you remember the tallest man you've ever seen?
Do you love to go a-wandering beneath a clear blue sky?
Have you noticed what big stars real estate agents have become?
Are you careful with your personal records? Does your computer ever seem to have a mind of its own? Have you ever visited a Chinatown section in a major city?
Have you ever visited a flea market? Have you ever visited a truck stop? Did you ever have a job as a waiter?
Have you noticed how many successful restaurants are theme-based these days?
Have you ever had the desire to write your initials in wet cement?
Got to get an education. Get yourself under control. It's the strangest situation. Can't keep my feet under control. 'Cause I have dancing in my soul. Oh, the teacher got down on the drum. Everything became undone. The football team began to dance. A crazy circumstance. Call the doctor, call the nurse. Stop this thing for it gets worse. Yes, there will be dancing.
Cool.
Hey, Mabel. Time to get up, Mabel. Mabel. Wake up. Wake up. Mabel, it's Magic Mouse time. You want to come be with us? Come on, Mabel. Let's go.
Doodleburg says this new Pink Floyd's The Wall song is weird. I thought it sounded like something. That's what it is. It's that We Don't Need No Education song.
Ferocious gorilla.
Yeah.
Get up! Look me! Get up, or I'm whipping your tail in! Oh.
Leave him alone.
Who said that?
I did. Quit picking on him. He doesn't want to fight.
He's not peaceful, he's just a sissy. If that gorilla can make it
3 rounds with a killer here, I'll give you $100. $100? The next time you'll see that gorilla will be in the rug department at Kmart.
Don't worry, I'm going to be with you.
Squish.
Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, we want to talk to you.
You're in big trouble, kid, so just watch us. Get the picture, kid?
Yeah, so go sell those stupid things someplace else.
Who needs dumb old flowers anyway?
I'll take 2.
Purple Nickels says I keep forgetting about daylight savings time. I'm in Arizona, so I keep wondering why your streams are so early now. Yeah.
Hey, Mabel, come on, let's do it together.
So just as they're about...
Job's here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi there. Welcome to Angelville and Magic Mouse. It's so good that you can be here today.
Are you awake? You want to join us?
Squish that cat. All you need to know is to squish that cat. And you just gently squish them. That's not comfortable for the cat, or that safe, to be honest with you. You can just throw a towel on the cat again, squish her with a towel. What you can do is scoop her up, a little football carry, just like that. Butt in your hand, and just squish her tight to your body. Just squish them really tight to your body. You don't have to worry about hurting a cat, you know, just squishing them against your bodies. And there we go. We just made friends with this wonderful little cat. Look at that face. Look at that face. Squishing is your best friend when you're dealing with a cat. You basically just lean forward, squish them nice and tight. And again, I'm just squishing them into myself. We always squish that cat. Squish that cat. All you need to know is to squish that cat. And you
Come here, kitty, so I can squish you. Come on. It's time to squish that cat. Come on. You must come here. The chat demands it. Come on. Lou. No. Do you just want to stare? She's looking towards the door. I think she's regretting coming in here now. Don't you want to be squished? Squish! Come here. Come in. Krapot Kinist, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1 for 3 months in advance. Is this a preview of Campaign 2? Yes. Come on, kitty. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, watch. I'll turn this way and pretend to ignore her, and she'll immediately want to get up. I definitely am ignoring Lupine. Oh, now do you want to come up? Come on. Come on. I don't know what you want then. Great. Squished lupine emote. That's pretty good. This is a cringy nostalgia critic clip from back in the day, from his Congo review.
About to leave, Karen comes along to join the adventure in the hopes of finding her fiancé.
We've been putting together a rather hasty expedition.
To the Congo, the talking gorilla.
Jungle. That's right, the jungle.
Jungle.
Just a minute.
Tickle Amy.
I'm sorry.
Tickle Amy.
All right, I'm convinced. Their strange obsession with monkey tickling can only lead to one conclusion and one conclusion only. To promote their brand new line of toys, Tickle Me Amy! Tickle her and she says just the most adorable things.
Tickle Amy.
I remember this bit.
Isn't she adorable?
Tickle Amy lower.
She's so cute.
Grab Amy's genitalia. Spank Amy hard. Call Amy bad girl. Shit on Amy's face. Give Amy golden shower. Fuck Amy for hours. Amy love you long time.
So that's Congo and socks. Do you need more? The special effects zapper thing here.
Amy,
I love it.
stop tickling Amy now.
Isn't she so cute?
Stop tickling Amy, or Amy will smash your head in with rock and piss on your corpse.
I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have
You better run, motherfucker.
Okay, whatever. We see McDowell go through some sort of an...
I have.
Oh, hey! It's the same voice box they use in Tickle Me, Amy!
Amy's voice box is copyright protected. I will sue their asses and fuck them up hard. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Alright, I gotta stop playing with you.
Dog, no.
What is
Oh,
Hey, Brenny, could you go?
Incrimination. Self-incrimination is when you give information that could be potentially detrimental to whatever could harm you in the future. If I call you by your name in a legal action, and you accept that name as yours, you have then accepted the liability of that name. So cop pulls you over, right? License and registration. You need to understand what he's actually asking you. He asks if you have your business documentation. Are you registered to do business? Where's your license to do business? This is all in a corporate capacity. The cop is enforcing administrative laws. I don't care if you're smoking. I don't care what you're doing in your car. I don't care what you have in your car. All crimes have been converted into commercial crimes. So whatever
That's not true. This is all sovereign citizen nonsense.
you do, no
This has 577 hearts on TikTok.
matter what it is, it's all about money. Even if it doesn't involve money. Anytime somebody sues you, it's the same thing. The world revolves around business. Understand that your business is private, and a lot of things will change in your world. What is self-incrimination? Self-incrimination.
Well, he's very wrong.
Alright, Shaggers. What's up?
Righty, man.
I'm making.
Forget the shaggers. I am Brew.
I am making an I am Brew
Stop
chicken
it.
pakora today. So
Come
let's
away.
go. First off, get yourself
Stop.
a bowl, put
Right.
your chicken, add in some
Right.
garlic and ginger paste.
Aye.
Squeeze a
Aye.
bit of lemon in, season it with some salt, black pepper.
That's a lot of salt, big boy.
Good stuff. Suri meat.
Spicy.
Put in some paprika powder.
Okay.
Give it all a wee.
Yeah, marinate it. No, no, don't you dare. No. What?
Let it marinate.
You're putting Iron Brew in a chicken pakora?
Let's get the party started.
Party started? This sounds like a nightmare.
Here we go.
No, stop it.
Looking good. I added in some gram flour.
More spice? No. Really?
Some oil. And
Oil? No! No, Iron Brew! Come away, Tim! Falkirk! Oh no! Deep fry! What a mess! Wee man! You've lost the plot! Come away, Tim Falkirk!
And I am brew shots.
Monty!
Bang.
No!
Bob's your uncle.
Stir. Marinate.
Alright guys, so with today's
Oh
video,
no, Sizzle Pepe.
I'm going to show you how to
Shouldn't you be homeschooling?
And two, we're
Dude,
calling out Gordon Ramsay
really?
because I want that steak off. If you're not sure what's going on,
What did I tell you last time when you screwed up the ribeye? Okay. Let it relax first before it goes in the pan. A little bit too firm in the old sear there, kid. Yeah, come on. Okay, butter, good. Tilt it. Baste it, baste it. Baste it, I said. Don't put a Christmas tree around it. What are you doing? Oh my goodness me. A council house tartare. That was rude. I grew up in a council house. Oh, the state of that microwave. Look at, oh no, stop it, come on. French cuisine, that looks like a French turd. Are you kidding me? Stop it. Oh. A council house tartare. That was rude.
Alright, guys, so apparently one of the steak videos
Yeah, sizzle
How you doing, bitch? Do you know how to make pasta?
Okay.
Okay.
What?
That's enough. Sorry. I just really like those Gordon Ramsay videos from TikTok. I think we watched that one.
Judge, if this is a court of record, I would...
I've seen that one too. Maybe we just do a top public freakouts. Oof. What's a call for an uprising up to?
If you've ever had those figures
featuring children, the battlement, and previously met the bachelors. Some were perfect gentlemen, and others were...
Okay, so it's like a late night gag where it's the bachelor and bachelorette but their children. Okay? I don't find that very funny, but I don't really like Jimmy Kimmel, so I don't hate him or anything. It's just not my thing. The only late night host that I watch semi-regularly, and he doesn't even really do it anymore, is Conan. I don't know.
Husband, what qualities?
Today's show, this is by far one of my most important videos, so please watch in full and share it. I am going to show you the repetition that is being used on the masses to normalize children and make them look like adults. So normalizing kids, so making it seem like it's normal to have kids on Top Chef cooking shows. It's normal to have kids on Ninja.
Do you mean Master Chef? Did they do a kids Top Chef too? I know there was a Master Chef Junior, but...
Warriors. Now they have the new Dancing with the Stars for kids. Project Runway for kids. Because people don't realize this stuff. They just kind of see it and they're like, oh.
Is there a Project Runway for kids? That's kind of questionable.
Oh, my favorite.
That gives me Toddlers and Tiaras vibes.
Favorite show, is Top Chef, or sorry, Master Cook or Master Chef.
Master Chef.
And now they have Master Chef Junior. I know that's so normal. It's not normal. It's not normal for adults at home.
I mean, I don't understand the issue with Master Chef Junior. I mean, it's a reality show and it's very fake, but like, it's not like Toddlers and Tiaras where it's like, is this appropriate? It's just kids cooking. It's a kids cooking competition. What's the issue with that? Kids exist.
Home to be watching children do adult things. And it's not normal for these children to be put in these positions to be cooking, 5-course, 5-star meals at the age of 8.
I mean, that's why it's a TV show, because it's interesting. And I haven't seen a Master Chef where they have to do like a however many course meal. Typically it's like a single dish competition thing. I think once per season they do have the kids run a kitchen with Gordon, but it's not like every episode. But that's what makes it entertaining, right?
And you'll see how they're targeting 8-year-olds to 15-year-olds. In some cases, we have 6-year-olds and 4-year-olds on these singing and dancing shows. This is not normal. But unfortunately, people out there go, oh, you're just being a hater. These kids are talented. Give them a chance. I care about the kids more than these people could possibly know.
Doubt.
Because anybody with a heart and a soul who understands what they're trying to do should care about these innocent children who are being victimized. But these children specifically are likely on these shows are somehow involved where their parents are parts of covens or secret societies. That's how they get on the shows. Their parents are celebrities. That's how they get on the shows.
No, their parents are probably annoying momagers and what a dadager, I guess. They're probably stage parents. I wouldn't disagree, and we can talk about the exploitation of children in terms of, like, Hollywood, not only in terms of, like actual abuse stuff that absolutely does happen. Basically anywhere where there's a power structure, people take advantage of kids. It's really gross. Look at the Catholic Church for a good example of that. But even beyond the really, really awful illegal abusive stuff, like, how many kids who are being pushed into auditioning for roles or going on reality shows, how many of them are people who wouldn't necessarily want to do this, but their parents kind of push them into that? That's a problem. That is. I'm sure that happens, and it's gross. Stage parents, I've heard, can be pretty gross. But I'm sure there are plenty of kids who are completely fine with it and want to go into acting or being on TV or whatever. And if they want to do that and their parents are supportive and they can be successful at that, more power to them. I don't think it's inherently bad for children to get involved in acting or performing or things like that. As long as they're on board with it and want to do it. And it's safe, obviously.
But really what this is about is the mind control on the masses to normalize children. So that's the concern.
Normalize children. Yeah, these newfangled children. Back in my day, we didn't have any children walking around.
The concern...
Windchanter says, you hear about the show Kid Nation? They took a bunch of kids and dropped them in a ghost town, some as young as 8. Yes, I watched that when it was on the air. I watched it live. Just watched the opening. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
This is Bonanza City, New Mexico, or what's left of it anyway. The pioneers who ran this place back in the 1800s ran it into the ground. Lack of leadership and lack of will combined to leave this town completely and totally dead. But that's about to change. Now, 40 new pioneers will try to fix their forefathers' mistakes and build a town that works. It won't be easy. Pioneer living is tough. And the amazing part is, these pioneers are children. That's right, the oldest just turned 15. The youngest is 8.5. They are every kind of kid imaginable. City kids, country kids, rich, poor, and everything in between. And they're on their way here right now.
I know the youngest kid leaves almost immediately and is like crying, and they just film him crying. Let me see if I can find the crying bit. I'm not reveling in it, but the youngest kid who was on the show has been interviewed since then, and he's fine. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Unfortunately, he was interviewed by JonTron, but, you know. Like, this kid is just like, and there's just an adult there with a camera in his face. Oregon Trail Reloaded.
Jimmy!
Like, there's just a kid crying, and then there's just an adult with a camera.
I'm so scared, man. Right here. Let's go. What's going on? I'm only 8. I'm in a 3rd grader, and I think I'm too young to be doing this. Even if you...
The kid has more common sense than the producers. I think I'm too young to be doing that. Yeah, I agree. You are.
Really young, you're really cool, and you're really awesome, and you can really do a lot for this. Over.
I think that kid decides to leave at the end of the episode, so he's not in the rest of the season, just for the record, which is good for that kid.
Oh my god. You're joking, right?
Not joking.
And it's mine?
It's yours. 20 grand.
Oh my god.
At the end of every episode or whatever, they pick like a VIP of the week, and they get a gold star worth $20,000.
We can make our own shops. We can rebuild a whole town.
I know. I only ever watched. Did this actually complete out its first season? I'm just curious. Kid Nation. I mean, it looks like it went to the end, right?
Previously on Kid Nation. For 37 days, the kids of Bonanza City have struggled against the odds to build a world of their own.
The grocery store's open!
Along the way, they've been led by 3 different town councils.
We're thinking about killing its chicken.
Each face tough decisions.
The job board is on fire, so that means there's no more jobs. But if there's no more jobs, that means there's no more classes. And no more classes means we can't have places in the showdown, but we are supposed to have...
Yeah, I don't know.
I missed you. City Slicker.
Okay. That's enough of bad reality show. Oh yeah, we were in the middle of this.
Is that people out there, sooner or later, when they say, listen, we're going to drop the age of consent, there'll be a couple big fake...
Oh, God, no! 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 No.
Cases they make up, and they'll go, we're going to drop the age of consent. We're going to make it from, 17 and 18. We'll drop it down to 12 because now women, young girls at 12 and young boys at 12 have brains smarter than adults and more developed than 30-year-olds.
What the fuck is he talking about? What is he talking about? That is not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right? And that's why you see this. They aren't doing this because they're going, oh, it's ratings. Because so many people out there are watching Ellen and they want to see young kids, coming up with new inventions.
I watched MasterChef Junior, and I've never watched MasterChef because I find it interesting watching the kids be, really skilled at a thing and passionate about it. Again, it's a reality show. I think I watched a video a while back on how MasterChef Junior is bullshit, but it's an entertaining show, right? You go into reality shows knowing it's bullshit. I don't know about the Project Runway thing. Again, feels a little toddlers and tiaras-y, but I don't know what it's like, so...
Or adults aren't sitting at home because there sure aren't 6-year-olds who are watching Dancing with the Stars or 8-year-olds who are watching Dancing with the Stars. Okay, this is geared towards adults. The reason it's geared towards adults is because they want to normalize this. The adults who are watching it are going, oh, this is cute because it's kids. And they don't realize that the programming is to desensitize them from the age. Because then when they start rolling this stuff out and going, hey,
I was worried about 12-year-olds getting fucked by adults, but then I saw a cooking show full of kids and I thought, that kid can make creme brulee. They can suck a dick. This is how a call for an uprising thinks. This is how he thinks people work. This is how detached from reality he is, that he thinks this is how people think. He's such an idiot that it hurts me physically. Chrysia says the most liberal parts of the country have the highest ages of consent. Yep.
Kids can now be treated like...
Which party put up a literal pedophile? Roy Moore? Again? Not that that matters. A call for an uprising doesn't believe in political parties. He thinks they're fake, so...
Adults, everything with the advancements in technology...
The Project Runway scene was one episode and it was a design project for a mother and a child. Okay, that seems fine then.
Everything has changed and now we need to change. And we need to look at children as, we're seeing it now.
Gotcha. It's a fashion design show. Okay, I didn't know that. I guess I thought it was like America's Next Top Model. So the junior version had the youngest person is 14 and the kids design and create clothing for adults. That makes sense. That's perfectly fine. That makes way more sense than what I was thinking of.
With feminism and all that stuff, they're going to be making all these movements with children and children's rights right? We've already seen like children's rights to choose their gender and they can sue their parents. It's insanity.
It's insanity for children to be able to be who they want to be.
But this is to normalize what they're about.
Is Tyra Banks terrible? Yes, thanks for asking.
Because if you don't know, these people are all about children. You know why they're all about children? Because the core of their rituals involve children. Their black magic rituals involve sacrifice. Lust is the word I'll use because I don't want to get flagged for saying another one. But let's just say abuse of children in a way that is not appropriate at all, which causes what is known as trauma-based mind control. So I'm going to play these clips so you can see the repetition of all of these shows that are big, popular shows on TV. Right now, airing right now. Because maybe your brain, maybe you don't watch these shows.
This is another video where just half the runtime is him just showing clips from other things. We'll go through some of them and talk about them.
I don't watch them, but I hear about it. I see, the commercials and stuff like that, and I know what they're doing. But when you see the pattern in a row and you see it, your brain starts to go, okay, this isn't normal. I don't
even know why he's showing, like, Universal Kids, which I assume is just Universal Studios' kids division, where they produce material for, like, kids, like kid shows and stuff.
All of these shows now featuring kids. Why don't they just have another one? What are we going to have next? The Bachelor Kids version? We're going to have 8-year-old dating show, proposing to each other?
No.
Don't be surprised. Jimmy Kimmel's already done it on his,
You get that the thing at the beginning was a joke, right? That was the joke, that it was kids, and it's scripted. You understand what a joke is, right?
His late night talk show, Bachelor for Kids. I'll even put that clip in. It's insane. They are normalizing this for a reason because they want all this stuff they do in darkness to be normal. And they have to use mind control to get it across. But people don't believe mind control is real. They have mastered it through MK Ultra, through Project Paperclip, bringing all these scientists over here.
Project Paperclip? That was like involving like rocket engineers from Germany, Nazi Germany, coming over and being part of NASA. What does that have to do with mind control? Windchanter with 30 bits says, I think someone needed to check Uprising's computer files. No kidding.
Experimenting on the human brain.
He strikes me as the kind of person that has a whole bunch of CP, and then when he gets caught, he'll be like, I was just researching the Cabal to see what they're doing. Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens to all of these homeless people who walk around the streets talking gibberish and people just think they're crazy? They destroy people's minds because they do all this testing on their minds.
Or some people are schizophrenic or have other delusional disorders that make it hard for them to function in day-to-day life. Probably that one.
Figuring out how to control the mind, to control the masses. And that's what they're doing here. They want this normalized so that they don't have to hide anymore. They don't have to do it in secret, and that they can create an entire world of nothing but sinning, sick, sociopath pedos, to say the least. So take a look at all these shows that are going on right now, and you tell me in the comment section, is this normal? I don't want to hear, oh, these kids are talented. This isn't what 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds should be doing. They shouldn't be on TV getting paraded around. Little girls wearing skirts and dresses, dancing provocatively. It's disgusting. Disgusting.
I haven't seen Dancing with the Stars Jr., but I would imagine they aren't having the kids do provocative dances, and if he sees a kid dancing and assumes and sees it as provocative, I think he probably has some issues that he's projecting onto other people.
But we know why. Those of us who are awake, we know why they're doing it. So tell me in the comment section that this is normal, that this isn't a repetition and a pattern being done on people to normalize this stuff, because that's exactly what it is. So take a look for yourself. Thank you all for listening.
Dancing with the Stars is about to get even smaller.
How are you?
Good.
12 of today's pocket-sized celebrities.
My agent said, you want to be on Dancing with the Stars? And I was like, yeah.
You ever held hands with a girl before? Besides your sister?
Now, let's meet the cast of Dancing with the Stars Junior.
My name is Akasha Cody, and I am the youngest boy to ever compete at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. What do you know about tango? Tango, spelled T-A-N-G-O, is a ballroom dance of Latin American origin in 2/4 time. Okay.
I hate how fake reality shows are. That's definitely not a line that they just fed to him. That's clearly an off-the-cuff response, because kids actually talk like that.
I am Hudson West. I play Jake Weber on General Hospital. 7 together, 8. Cha, cha, cha. Yeah! I am Jason Maybaum. I play Levi Grayson on the show Raven's.
I thought he looked familiar. I've seen a couple episodes of that because I watched the first couple because I watched That's So Raven as a kid, so I wanted to see what the reboot was like.
When we have a live audience and the song pops on, I'm like, yeah! Yes! I'm like, I gotta get there. I'm like, I can't stop myself. I think I got this. It's absolutely fun. Oh, I can't be more fired up. I just...
Yeah, there was a That's So Raven reboot where she's the mom and she has kids and one of the kids is psychic. It was a Disney Channel show. It's probably on Disney Plus. So yeah, the Dancing with the Stars thing, I think it looks terrible, but I don't like reality. Well, okay, I can't say I don't like reality shows. It depends on the reality show. I don't like reality shows that are like a singing competition or a dancing competition. That kind of thing just doesn't really appeal to me. And also feels pretty, I don't know, cringe, but it didn't seem like there was anything inappropriate going on. It's just kids dancing. Yeah, sequel, not reboot. I was using the word wrong, you're right.
Welcome to MasterChef Junior.
Isn't that show only a couple of years old? Oh, sweetie. Hold on. That's So Raven. That's So Raven ended in 2007, which was 14 years ago. That is not a couple of years. It started in 2003, so started 18 years ago. That's So Raven is almost 2 decades old.
Between the age of 8 and 13 across all of America.
Welcome, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts!
We are firm, but we're fair. And so when they see us getting a little bit sort of dunked and messy and horrible and sticky, we become a little bit close to them. So they think that we're sort of their best friends. So they trust us more. So we get to push them more.
Stunning lobsters.
Oh my God, they're alive.
Young lady, it's smooth as a baby's bum.
I'm very big.
I do like MasterChef Junior because it's nice seeing Gordon Ramsay. And again, I recognize it's a reality show and a lot of this stuff's fake. But I do like seeing Gordon Ramsay, like, being very nice to these kids and genuinely teaching them how to cook certain things. It's great.
On creating a look that stands out the most. I draw most of my inspiration from punk rock, streetwear, glamorous, luxury. I really want to.
These aren't even really. I mean, they're kids in the general, but I'd more say these are teens. I'd describe these as teens before I would describe them as children.
Just take risks in this challenge. How old are you? I'm 13. I'm the youngest here.
My design style is not the norm.
I love it. Yes! I work with velvet quite often.
I'm underwhelmed.
It's not working. Executed terribly. You nailed it. So happy.
Dear American Ninja Warrior, I think your show is so cool. I think we should have a kids version.
Kids everywhere have been dreaming of getting their chance to take on the biggest course yet. For the first time ever.
I really hope they tuned down the course for the kids on this one, because the Ninja Warrior shit's tough.
American Ninja Warrior Junior.
Now I'm a kid.
Oh God! Oh no!
You feel like you belong?
I belong now.
What makes these kids so inspiring is they've overcome so much.
Is about something bigger.
It's amazing to have other ninjas. I've made a ton of ninja friends.
And heart.
Good for those kids. That's scary as shit, but whatever.
People I've never met screaming, "Go Sophia! Go Sophia!"
What about parents? Can they help bring these lessons to kids?
Oh, they're doing a Shark Tank with kids now?
You know how you have time, take the kids to soccer and everything else? Sometimes there's entrepreneurship time.
Before we meet our guests, let's take a look at how they got here.
Came up with my of how we want our Zollipops in the pack.
You get it. It's a bunch of shows. It's a bunch of shows with kids, and then at the end, it's the parody from the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Call for an Uprising is an idiot and probably kind of a creep who's projecting some unhealthy things onto other people. If you look at a cooking show for children and you think that is in any way more than that, if you think it is like sexual in some way, implicitly or explicitly, that's a fucking you problem. Call. Are you okay? Because this is some sick shit you're saying. Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, Quinn, the gayest NB. Very happy birthday to you.
Hey guys, I'm here to give you a channel update. I am begging you, please subscribe to my backup YouTube channel. I am in the position where I am very much needing money from YouTube ads, so my backup plan for something were to happen to my current...
Wait, he's making money on YouTube ads?
YouTube channel.
I get demonetized on every single video I put out, but this guy's an outright QAnoner, and he's... Whatever. YouTube is so screwed up.
Is literally to jump to another YouTube channel. But for that backup plan to be successful, I need your support. So in the description of all my videos at the top, I'm now going to have a link, including this video. In the description, I'm going to have a link to my backup YouTube.
He has a Patreon, too. How much is he making on Patreon? $194 a month? He makes almost as much money as me on Patreon. That's sad. Bardlock Moses says YouTube is trash.
Channel. So please go to the description, click on the link to backup channel. This is what my YouTube channel
Will
looks like.
Callie says 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be available. Going to watch that when I wake up. Oh God, good luck.
Like my backup YouTube channel, I'm gonna start posting some different content there. Maybe some stuff that I can't post on my current one, but I'll be posting some fresh new content on my other channel. The most important thing though is that I have this as a backup. Ideally, I would need at least 1,000 subscribers to get this up and working. Right now I have almost 300. So if you could please click on the subscription button on my other YouTube channel, and I will promise you I'll be posting some content there that you won't get on this channel. The reason is this is just a backup plan,
Von Tux with 230 bits says, got my Pfizer shot first dose today. Yesterday lurked on a QAnon stream and they think Trump told them to get theirs to trick the deep state and that their 3,000 followers on stream shouldn't get it. Yeah, I watch a thing on Twitch too that's also like that. There's also the Great Awakening.win, and they're also saying like, oh, Trump had to say that to trick people or whatever. Guys, just get the fucking shot. Nick says if he keeps this up, he's not going to have a YouTube channel because of ban evasion. Hope so. Well, this is probably a channel I need to save on my conspiracy list.
Amen.
Amen. 101, I'd like to read
Amen.
something if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I just have to get to my book.
Want to say my words are failing me right now. But he said it's not him. You know what? 101, you got a quality. We all come to this channel because you're live every night There's great people in this community that all come to this channel every night to either get information or hang out together. You know, you have a quality. You can be. It's because you don't take no shit. You tell the truth.
March 4th Intel.
Hey y'all, how you doing? Give me a minute to get things settled in. I've got some big things tonight. I've got to slow chat for one. That's something big. Let's see, 45. So that's set. That's good. Chat, am I good to go?
Yeah, you're 5x5. Everything's good.
Oh, Pinball's here. Sweet.
Okay.
Okay. So, we are going to drop the link for those who are not here. And, okay. Rage, would you say what I just showed you is... Now, with that, I'm going to show you this. Oh, I lost Pinball there for a second. Let's see. Supposedly, the Capitol, right? Okay. Why is there like a three-story, what looks like a three-story building here with glass panels?
Looks like a curtain.
Okay, just wait here. You'll see.
It looks like it's a reflection. It looks like it's a truck, and it's reflecting the Capitol building or something. Ugh.
Okay.
Reflection on it.
Exactly. You'll see it in just a second here.
Forced perspective is a hell of a drug.
Find it. Why is there an exit sign?
Whoa, that's like my green screen I was trying to play with today.
I'm just... Why is there an exit sign and doorways that are like 1 story tall? And you can see the reflection of it in the... In this. This is a studio.
Yeah.
So the fog we were seeing was to hide these walls.
So the fog is to hide the walls, but no one noticed that this, and including an exit sign, was there. No one was like, hey, Bob, I know we went to a lot of work to build a scale model of the Capitol and fog up the room. Have you considered not pointing the camera at the exit sign and wall of the studio?
Those spotlights was like what we saw on the Super Bowl night. Why are they doing this? And the thing is, you could put this in a gymnasium and do this. You know, just have the very top of the Capitol, and that looks to be what? I don't know, 30 feet high. You could very easily make a hangar that's tall enough to take this in with spotlights and
the exit
flag,
signs have to be
miniature
clearly visible.
poles.
It's the law. True.
It could be an...
I hate when OSHA comes to check out my secret government project room where we're secretly pretending that Biden is the president when he's not or something. I don't know.
Optical illusion, but why is there the reflection of it? And this is supposedly taller than this.
Yeah. Okay. And?
Which would also explain the whole Tyler Perry thing. With
the Tyler Perry thing?
Why they have a full-scale White House there, except for the east and west wings. And they have a whole bunch of studio buildings next to that. Who's to say this is not in one of those studio buildings?
Yeah, okay, but we're not looking at CGI. We are looking at refraction coming off of 3D imager.
Right.
A CGI wouldn't give a reflection off a wall, but an imager would. If it was a 3D image,
CG can simulate reflections in real time.
And refracting, then you would get...
Even video games do that now with, oh god, what's it called? I can't think of the term. PlayStation 5 can do it, though. Ray tracing. Yes, they can do real-time reflections in, like, video games and stuff now. So, of course, you can do it in a render in CG.
And there's little lights with to mimic the airport across the Potomac.
Or it's the airport.
And there's go ahead.
When you're done, I have something to show you on my screen.
Weekend discussing the stimulus package.
I can't believe these people. Tony Stark predictive programming.
Hey y'all, Prepping 101 here. So, this is a video I found of Iron Man 3 back in 2013. Okay, you'll see the title there, go look it up for yourself if you want. My point with this is we've been going over Jericho with the Jericho missiles and the Jericho wall in the Bible last night. So, I just want you to listen to the symbolism and what I think is foreshadowing or, I don't know, pre-predictive programming, if you will. And, Tony doesn't seem right. In the head, anyway. He's having trouble with Pepper. Anyway, let's get to it.
Sorry. I'm a piping hot mess.
Okay, this is from Iron Man 3. This is when Tony is dealing with his PTSD from after the events of the Avengers, after he almost died flying the nuke into space to destroy the Chitauri ship.
It's been going on for a while. I haven't said anything. Nothing's been the same since New York.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't notice that.
Notice he says nothing's been the same since New York.
Which is a reference to the events of the film The Avengers. You know, the movie that came out before this one, that they explicitly talk about in this movie and explain that he's suffering from PTSD because of it.
Think the USS Comfort with the kids in the tunnels.
What? No! He's talking about an alien invasion in which he, a World War II propaganda character, a 1950s radiation monster, a spy, Robin Hood, and a Norse god all beat up aliens because it's a silly comic book movie. He is not talking about real-world child trafficking. What are you talking about? Mike Max says this is for the people, and there's a link.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Okay, I'm going to keep pausing it as to not get copyright so I can commentate over this. Just be patient.
At all.
You experience things, and then they're over, and you still can't explain them. Gods, aliens, other dimensions. I'm just a man in a can. The only reason I haven't cracked up is probably because you moved in, which is...
Other dimensions, gods.
He's describing Asgard and Thor, characters in the Marvel comics since the 1960s.
Him cracking mentally.
Because of the events of a superhero alien invasion.
Sounds a lot.
Who's the spy? Yeah, Black Widow's the spy.
Like the whole conspiracy theories that we've all been going into. Just saying. Listen to what he says here next, which really blew me away when I heard it. It's kind of surreal, if you will.
I love you. I'm lucky. But honey, I can't sleep. You go to bed, I come down here. I do what I know.
He says he can't sleep.
Because he has PTSD from flying a nuke into space. It's a movie for children.
Those who know can't sleep. Tony, what are you trying to say, brother?
He's saying he has PTSD from the alien invasion that happened in the previous film.
2013.
Even for a Q person, he's stretching. This amount of stretching would make Reed Richards blush. See? All tied together into the Marvel thing. That's good.
This came out, guys. Those who know can't sleep. Gods, aliens, different dimensions. He said it. Hollywood is shoving it right in our face, y'all. And we don't even know it, or you don't even see it.
Jezebel Dread says flying a nuke into space. I thought he got sucked into a turbine. Both of those things happen in the movie. Yes. Logarth of 50-bit says that one deserves biddies.
Just something I found and just something I wanted to share. Again.
Proof Hawkeye is the best. Clint is the only hero to be a member of both the Avengers and the Justice League of America. Are you thinking of Green Arrow? That's a different character. Or did something crazy happen that I'm not familiar with in the comics? I know there was a Justice League Avengers crossover, but that was like a one-off. Unless it was an Amalgam Comics thing. Antipodian Squid with 50-bit says it definitely deserved biddies. Killjoy102 says, I genuinely don't know what to say. This is some next level nuttery. And then Mike Mack says, review this one day. He was inducted into the Justice League in the crossover. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I haven't read that.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
That's just this link again. I think you meant to send a different link. I like the hold on. Amalgam Comics. Are you guys aware of Amalgam Comics? Okay, so there was an event in the comics where there was a crossover between the Justice League and the Avengers, or the Marvel and the DC universes, and then something happened. I haven't really read these, but I'm vaguely familiar with them, where the characters and the universes got Satan's Endgame, The Secret of the Avengers. Oh boy, we gotta watch that at some point. Anyway, the universes got combined together, so they did some short one-off comic series called under the name Amalgam Comics, because it's an amalgamation of DC and Marvel. So, for instance, Superman and Captain America fused together into one character called Super Soldier, Man of War. So he's Superman and Captain America, but he's one guy. TubeMan642 says Speed Demon is my favorite amalgam. Let me see who else. Spider-Boy, who is a combination of Spider-Man and I want to say Superboy. Trying to see. Thorian of the new Asgods, which is Thor and Orion, I think. Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Iron Lantern, so Iron Man and Green Lantern. Lobo the Duck, which is Lobo and Howard the Duck combined. Dark Claw, which is Batman and Wolverine combined into one person. Bat Thing, which I think is Man Thing and Man Bat maybe put together. There's a bunch of them. It's neat. It's very interesting stuff. It's fun to see these characters put together. Speed Demon. I'm not very familiar with Speed Demon, but by the looks of it, it looks like maybe it's the Flash and Ghost Rider. Big Joke. Which looks like the Hulk and Joker. This looks like Storm and Wonder Woman put together to make Amazon. 24 total one-shot issues. That's cool. Yeah, I wonder if any of these are on Marvel Unlimited, the app, but I kind of doubt it. based on the legal, you know, it's legally probably up in the air as to who owns these. I don't know if they have a deal for streaming comics with this stuff. Okay. Anyway, that's that. Just thought it's kind of cool. I'll save this for, I assume this is like a conspiracy video?
I come from Earth, a planet of outlaws.
What master do you serve? What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus?
When the earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it.
Hear me and rejoice.
You have to get the issues for the Amalgam books. They not even have a trade paperback of a bunch of them. That's unfortunate. Can you only do the single issue floppies? Hold on. Amalgam comics for sale. Oh no. Okay. There's a trade paperback. It's $52, so it's not cheap, but you can get a trade paperback of them, so that's cool. Neato.
Upon this rock,
okay, I'm gonna get to the talking bits.
I believe that there is a reason why the end game. I want to miss this live where. Hey everybody, welcome to LED Live.
I didn't get a chance to read Agents of Atlas, no. I put it on my list though.
Live where we are going to expose some darkness with the light of Christ, and you guys aren't going to want to miss this one because we're going to talk about the Marvel Universe and their end game. And if you're a Christian, I believe that there is a reason why the world has totally become obsessed with this movie. $1.2 billion in its opening weekend is out of control.
Find out on this episode of LED Live.
Is this just going to be like Avengers is Christian?
Marvel film.
Probably.
Yes.
You probably have. Okay,
They all have youth pastor vibes. Tube Man says, what is lamer than being a Christian nerd?
Some of the Marvel films. Yeah, right. It's been a long time since I've seen them. But, you know, I think that they were brilliant in the way that they were literally roping together all of these stories and collecting sort of audiences in each one of the categories and then converging them all together in a final story. I mean, it was just a brilliant idea for a company.
Yeah, kind of like a flavor for everybody. Yeah, you're gonna identify.
It's literally how comic books have been going basically since Secret Wars. The original Secret Wars, not the newer one. You get a bunch of different books for different people, and then you do the big crossover events and you try and make your money.
One of these comic characters probably, right?
Exactly, exactly. Do you guys remember from Replacement Gods 1 when we had the artist that was talking with Grant Morrison, and he basically said, listen, this is a recreation of the Bible?
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Mm-hmm. I really believe there's a reason why we're seeing so many biblical references, and I mean, it's pretty shocking when you kind of wrap your head around it, so I'm excited to present this for you guys.
I'm pretty sure the Bible, at least in Western media, is probably the most alluded to work of... I was gonna... work... Let's just call it a work. I think the Bible is the most often referenced piece of literature in media, just because it's so prolific and people understand it.
Me too.
Let's see what you think.
Into it.
All right. All right, so in order to kind of basically wrap your head around this, we're going to go all the way back to 10 years ago, the very first Iron Man. Now, there's a lot of parallels that Iron Man actually has, biblical parallels that almost kind of pin him as the savior. You guys will check this out. There's even comments that are made in the film that are directly taken from the Bible, such as this one.
Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. There you go.
Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, which is a line that's directly taken from
Jesus Christ.
From Jesus, right? So here it is in Matthew 22:21. It says, they said unto him, Caesar's, and then he said unto them, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. So this is when Jesus was...
Yeah, but it's a joke because he's at like Caesar's palace and he got an award and he hands it to a guy dressed as Caesar. It's a joke.
Getting confronted with the Pharisees, and they were asking him, you know, who do we pay our money to? And he quotes this exact line. So I found that kind of interesting. Yeah, there's another scene here where in the very beginning of the movie, Tony Stark is describing how his company is really a company that's making weapons to destroy large entities. And he titles this one with a biblical name.
For your consideration, the Jericho.
As you can notice, he holds his arms out in sort of a Christ-like pose, right? Now, who destroyed Jericho? Was that the devil?
The Israelites. God commanded them to walk around the walls of Jericho for I forget how many days. And then on the last day, they shouted and the walls of Jericho came down.
No, that was Jesus, right? So there's this parallel here once again.
Jesus? What? The Jericho thing happens in the Old Testament.
With him being like a Christ type. When he became Iron Man, this is the first time that he like almost dies, literally, and they take him to a cave, and that's where they put that little thing on his chest, and which saves his life. And here's him inside of the cave.
I've seen many wounds like that in my village. We call them the Walking Dead.
So he makes a reference that he's like the Walking Dead, which is another Christ-like type reference, right?
That's closer to a reference to zombies than anything, but okay. Antipodian Squid says, wow, Hannah, you're really well versed on the Bible for some inexplicable reason. Yeah, it's almost like I read it for a decade for my job.
But he's in the cave for 3 months, becoming Iron Man, right? Yeah. And he comes out of the cave, literally blowing people away. And
is this just literally over an hour of them trying to find things that are in some way, even if it's very lightly related to the Bible?
Destroying them, right? Against.
Honestly, I think I'd have liked the Bible better if Jesus came out of the cave and started burning the Pharisees immediately in a fucking Iron Man suit.
Did he come to the earth in all of his wealth? No way. So who is the rich one in the world that can promise you anything? Right? The Bible has lots to say about this. Ephesians, sovereign. This is her throne. Notice there's light streaming out of it, right? God is the very source of light in
the throne looks like a dick. Are you going to talk about the fact that the throne looks like a dick and balls?
In heaven.
I see.
Because I'm pretty sure that's the joke James Gunn was making.
See it within you. Fear. Jealous.
Iron Man is the one like Christ. Look at his hands.
Exactly. And he has...
Iron Man has repulsors on his hands that he uses to fly. He has had them, like, forever, and he uses them as weapons, too. Devolio says, I love that the, man-child CEO super-capitalist character that normalized and manufactured consent for jerks like Elon is Christ-like.
Has something on his hands. I mean, that's something I didn't...
that he stands for.
The image 6, though, says, and the soul that... It's like, oh, it's a joke? Like, what am I supposed to say? I serve Jesus? Like, yes, if you're a Christian, you serve Jesus, and he died for you to have an opportunity. To passively throw this into a movie, I believe that's taking the Lord's name in vain. Here's an interesting side note. Chris Pratt was awarded at the MTV Movie Awards, goes up front, and is extremely open about his Christian beliefs. And he says this.
You have a soul. Be careful with it. God is real. God loves you.
Yeah, we know Chris Pratt's a conservative Christian.
There are 2 more stones on Earth. Find them, my children, and bring them.
So the power is literally in God's hands that has that ability to begin with. So that was very interesting that he says that. Now here's a scene with Thanos and his daughter. He takes children from all the planets that he's basically taken over, and he's wiped out half of their existence. He basically takes children from there, and this is a scene...
I don't think there was... I guess he took Gamora and he took some of the other people who are the children of Thanos, but I don't think every planet he goes to he takes a child necessarily. Quiet 185 with 200 bits says, this reminds me of my childhood indoctrination. I got in trouble for telling people that Jesus was a 3rd-gen ripoff of Osiris.
Between him and his daughter Gamora, and notice how she goes and looks at his throne and she says, I hate that thing. Listen to this. Really nice. They believed him because why? The covering cherub is next to God. So as they sat
in.
Okay, I'm good. Ugh. Yikes.
There's the title of the video. If you all want to go watch it. I think it's pretty eye-opening. Prepping 101.
That guy's got some paranoia issues. Okay, that's enough of this for now. And this guy.
North Platte Police, they at my window right now.
You got driver's license, registration, insurance?
Do you understand what's on my property?
Okay.
Do you understand that it's private property?
What's your name, buddy?
You can call.
Can you roll the window down just far enough for me
You can call me Mr.
or
King.
place your left hand on the steering wheel while you hold
Yeah,
your phone?
the Batman who laughs.
Sir,
Can you just keep your left hand
I'm
back?
familiar.
Sir, you are
vaguely.
depriving me
I haven't
of
actually
liberty
read
right
it,
now.
but
1089, please. Okay, do you have driver's license, registration, insurance?
Sir, why would I have that? Why would I need that?
Okay.
Do you understand that this is private property?
Okay.
If you know my name, why you asking me that? Okay, what's your name? Give me your first name.
Mine?
Matter of fact, damn, my paper in my other car. I just filed the lawsuit 3 days ago, Friday, against the North Platte Police Department for the same thing. This is going to the judge, so I just want you to know that. What's your first name, Toby?
what's my opinion of Neil Gaiman, the Sandman series? I haven't read Sandman. I read some other Neil Gaiman stuff though, and I liked it.
Yeah.
He's in the lawsuit with Kayla Reed, my girlfriend, doing the same thing, depriving me of liberty. I'm just using the road.
Okay, I'm in that lawsuit.
I'm using the road, going from point A to point B. He's putting motor vehicle codes on me and my property. They don't apply. Private property.
Are you gonna engage with me?
I think we watched this one because I remember him having the no trespassing sign in the car.
Pass him twice, bro. Listen.
Honestly, I feel like you're going to get pulled over more often with the private property thing than if you would just not put anything on it at all.
I'm not getting my car registered. When I go to court, I'm not even going to tell y'all because, like, y'all know what to say. Y'all know what to do. It's just a scare tactic. I'm finna file another lawsuit. I just filed the lawsuit Friday. I'm finna file another lawsuit tomorrow. I'm taking this car right here tomorrow to Lincoln, Nebraska to file my lawsuit. I promise y'all I'll never get my car registered.
What was that? They're opening the garage.
I don't know.
Okay.
Where to go?
That way. That's over there.
Where to go?
To the right.
The garage opener.
Uh-huh.
Where to go?
Is your window semi-open? Yeah, that's good.
Straight?
Okay, yeah. Close.
How you doing?
Can you roll the window down?
I can hear you just fine.
No, I want you to roll the window down.
Why is that, sir?
Because I'm gonna break it if you don't open it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Go ahead and break it.
It's up to you. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
So am I being detained?
You're being detained.
And may I ask why?
He doesn't want to roll down the window. He doesn't have to. He wants to be detained.
It's private. We gotta just check your IDs. It's a private checkpoint. If you don't, you're gonna delay us, and we're just gonna take you to jail.
Is there a reason?
We're gonna let you hold up the checkpoint.
What's the reason for the checkpoint, officer?
It's a private checkpoint. You've been explaining it twice.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Arrest you for interfering. What would you?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Yes, you're being detained. It's the last opportunity.
Why am I being detained, officer? Why am I being detained? Why am I being detained?
Go ahead, break it.
This is the quickest I think I've ever seen a cop decide to break the window.
We're recording all this, officer. Is there a reason why you're breaking the window, officer?
We need to. I'm asking you nicely to roll down the window.
Can I get your name, officer, and your badge number?
Yes, you can.
What's your name and your badge number, officer?
You need to open the door.
Officer, can I get your name and your badge number?
Okay.
You learned to lock it. Officer, can I get your name and your badge number, please? Are you refusing to give me your name and your badge number, officer? Are we free to go?
You're being detained.
Could you tell us the reason why we're being detained?
Get your car over here.
Why are we being detained, officer? Officer, I need to know your badge number and your name, officer. Is there a reason why you don't want to tell us your name and badge number, officer?
Drinking and driving.
Officer, officer, are you detaining us, officer? Officer, I need to know your name. You have to, by law, to tell me your name. Name and badge number, officer. Officer, name and badge number.
Okay, in our investigation.
Officer.
So am I
free to go, officer?
You're going to end up getting arrested.
Officer, am I free to go? Are you detaining us, officer? Is there a reason why you're detaining us, officer? Officer, can I get your name? Name and badge number. Is there a reason why you're refusing to give us name and badge number, officer? Officer, we need to know your name and badge number. You asked if I drunk. I said I'm not.
When we break the window, could you make sure that you cover your...
Officer,
Yes,
we
sir.
would like to know your name. Is there a reason why you're refusing us to give your name? What's your name and badge number, officer? Officer, we would like to speak to the lieutenant here.
Okay, I am the Purple Carmen San Diego.
We would like to speak
I'm
to
about go
Lieutenant
steal the
Alberto,
Statue of
please,
Liberty. I'll
officer.
have you now.
You asked if I've been drinking. I said no. Am I free to go?
You need to show your ID and you're free to go.
Officer, what? So what's the purpose of the checkpoint, officer?
It's a sobriety checkpoint.
So why do you want to see my ID?
And we're going to check your driver's license.
Why is that?
Okay. You know why.
You can check for sobriety, officer. You have the tools.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have the tools to check for sobriety, officer.
If you don't do something soon, we're going to hook your car up and pull it out of the way because you're being...
Officer, why are you guys refusing? So am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
Why that?
Am I pro-cop? Not really.
Why is that,
Why
sir?
is that? I'm anti-sovereign citizen.
So you either show us your license or we're going to back a tow truck up and hook your car up.
Officer, do we appear to be intoxicated?
And now he's interfering with the checkpoint. Yeah. So.
Officer, we would like to leave right now.
Don't comply. Do you understand?
Oh, you were asking Otaku. Sorry. There was
Am I
no
free to
at,
go?
so I assumed it was directed at me.
Are we... Officer, you just destroyed my window.
Yeah, you had 4 opportunities and you were given a warning.
Turn off the car.
Another car.
Well, I'm going. Officer, why are you detaining him?
He's under arrest.
He's under arrest for interfering with our duties.
Officer!
That's simple.
I think we need the videotape for evidence.
You do.
We'll take that to video.
I prefer not to show it.
Okay, pull over there. Pull right in front of my car.
For what?
To get a citation.
For what?
Just pull right in front
What's
of my
the citation for?
For not giving me a license.
I don't have to give you a license if I'm not suspected of a crime,
Go ahead
ma'am.
and pull over in front of my car, please.
Am I getting a citation right now?
Yes, sir. Pull in front of my car, please.
Has a sovereign citizen ever won a legal case with that nonsense? I actually, Leonard French did a really interesting video on one time it worked. Because they were accidentally right. They were accidentally right. Now, let me explain. There was a situation, and we watch a lot of sovereign citizen videos on here, so you guys know that a lot of the time they'll, especially lately, it feels like it's been cropping up more, they'll try and challenge jurisdiction of the court. Of course, they think they can challenge jurisdiction because they think the law doesn't apply to them, and they think that the onus is on the court to prove that they have power over them. Not the case. However, in this very specific instance, a cop accidentally pulled someone over in an area the cop did not have authority to do so. It was outside of their jurisdiction. So they sent the ticket to the court. The sovereign citizen went to court and challenged jurisdiction, and it actually did work, but for not the reason the sovereign citizen wanted. The case got dismissed because the court did not have purview over that location that they were cited in. So they won accidentally, right? MikeMax321 says, if you're interested in fusion like the Amalgam comics, Marvel did a fusion of their heroes like Captain America fused with Doctor Strange in the event of Warp World. There's also a YouTuber named Holden Hardman who is Christian, and he goes against the people from the video, called them bad Christian, and he likes and supports the MCU. What is it called? Captain Warp World. I'll look it up. Oh my god. The Hammer Supreme. What is this? Is this oh my god. Is this okay, it looks like Spider-Man, the Punisher, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Ghost Rider all in one? What the hell? That's just absolutely bonkers. Spider Supreme. That's interesting. And that's Iron Man, Thor, Thanos Galactus, Soldier Supreme, Secret Warps. Ghost Panther, Weapon Hex, which appears to be maybe Scarlet Witch and Wolverine. Arachnite, which looks like Moon Knight and Spider-Man. Iron Hammer, which is Iron Man and Thor. Soldier Supreme, which is Captain America and Doctor Strange. Wow. That's interesting. Anyway.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Sergeant Griffin with the Highway Patrol. It's a driver's license checkpoint.
Okay.
So we can see your license with you.
I don't think that's legal, sir.
It is legal, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to let you drive from here without seeing it.
Okay, well, I'm not going to show you any identification, sir. These are illegal.
Okay. Hey, Scott. Sit tight for me for a second, sir. Okay?
Yes, sir.
To operate on the roadways within the state of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And unfortunately, unless you show...
There was a story where Gamora folds the universe in half, leading to those fusion characters.
Well, the Fourth Amendment says I don't have to provide any...
That's a very comic book explanation, isn't it?
That, sir. You took an oath to the Constitution to uphold that Fourth Amendment, did you not?
Sir, I'm not going to...
Sobriety checkpoints are legal in the state of Tennessee. ID checkpoints, they are not legal. You cannot just stop somebody and demand to see their ID under penalty of, prosecution. You can't just sit here and demand to see my ID when you don't suspect me of any crime whatsoever. You can't hold a checkpoint just to sit here and ask people for their identification for no reason whatsoever. There's no reason for this.
Murderface9797, thanks for subscribing with 4 months.
Okay. What we'll need to see is your driver's license.
Sir, I'm not going to provide you any driver's license.
Do you understand that we can't let you leave from here without it?
Well, I mean, that's what would you do if I didn't have a driver's license, sir? Would you let me leave here then and write me a citation?
No, you'd be taken to jail for driving without a license.
Driving with but if I did have a license and didn't have it with me, then what?
What?
If I did have a license and didn't have it with me, would you still let me leave?
Top of the morning. I'm Irish. Irish the Hedgehog. I was going to meet up with my old friends Tilly and Sonk when suddenly I thought, you know, I've a mouth on me for some good old parties. So
this is on the official Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel. Is this canon?
Then I went down towards Station Square and I bump into Big and it's just like, how's the big size of you? And he's all like, Irish, how in the name of tickle are you? And I'm just all, you know, story horse, how's it going, Asher Grand? And then he's like, Sonk was just here, but that Egypt was nattering about nothing. And so then I thought of me old fella, and suddenly Big says, get out of that garden. And I thought he might have gone stone mad, and maybe he's just sick as a box of frogs. But then I'm thinking, well, with Big, he's a few short of a full shilling now, do you know what I mean? And quite frankly, his mouth is the size of an old lad Skip, and some say he's the owner of the Giant's Causeway. And so finally I meet up with Tilly, and he's stressing, and he's all in and out like a fiddler's elbow. And now Tilly's one of the lads, you know, but the chippers feel so far away at this point, and I still want me spuds. But Tilly's away with the fairies, and at this point, and sure anyway, sure that's your mouthing, as they say. And the rest of the day to yourself. Happy St. Paddy's Day.
It started as a joke on Twitter and then Team Sonic was like, let's do it. That makes sense. A lot of the people who work on the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, I think, have a sense of humor. I've seen them reference Sonichu, so... Did Christine Chan make that? No, it was too competent.
If we were able to check it.
Can I sort by just videos? I don't think so. That's a shame.
Sir, what I'm going to
Can
do...
you clarify, sir?
For Hague, they claim that until this is what I'm asking everybody to stay here, please, because I'm going to stay. So, no, this is our courtroom, and we have evidence that things are going bad. So, if you want to arrest me and drag me off, that's the only way I'm leaving. So, this is what I wrote to the Court of Appeals. Since this court violated every appeal rule ever to deny relief, more have been criminally implicated.
Mr. Hague, February 2nd is your time.
If this court didn't do right the first time, it sure can't now. Yet a growing number pledged to hold accountable those responsible no matter what. They claim they aren't doing this for Hague. They claim that until this sophisticated evil is ended, they may be next. And until this is ended, our Constitution, for which so many have died for and sworn to protect, isn't worth the paper it's printed upon. All concerned agree. The complained about the judge riding around.
Do this to you because it's a travesty.
That's why they have the metal
It's a travesty.
detectors so that they can do this
so they
to
don't
people,
get it.
to citizens like that.
Oh,
So the
don't
court
touch
can
us,
fuck
man.
you over, and you cannot protect yourself.
Yes.
It's in there. I don't see it. I need a license. That's not a license. It's in there, man.
Against a man defending himself.
A man who claims he doesn't need a license to practice law, whose arguments would the jury believe? It's tonight's edition of Carmel on the Case.
44-year-old Anthony Williams was all smiles in court, charged with practicing law without a license.
Very simply, the state intends to prove through the presentation of evidence and documents that Mr. Williams is pretending to be a lawyer.
Williams operates an internet-based law firm. He was accused of acting as an attorney after he filed documents in a foreclosure case. Williams calls himself a private attorney general and a sovereign peace officer. Authorities call Williams a sovereign citizen. Believers think
does this guy know Marcel?
many laws do not apply to them.
You can't arrest nobody for a traffic violation.
Well, we are.
Last year, Williams posted this video of his arrest for driving without a license.
And I'm also a foreign diplomat.
He says he doesn't need one. During that case, which took 8 months to conclude, he was taken to jail twice. First for failure to follow a judge's order, and then later for driving without a license a second time. In the end, he entered a no contest plea and paid a fine.
I don't know how Marcel is. He hasn't posted anything in a bit.
A month later, Williams was back in handcuffs, this time facing felony charges involving the unlicensed practice of law. When taken into custody at the airport, Williams was carrying his private attorney general ID, the badge, and handcuffs.
Y'all charging me with unlicensed practice of law, and I'm trying to understand what law are you charging me with unlicensed, because there's a whole bunch of law.
At trial, Williams represented himself.
The state have been very
Of course he did.
deceptive and misleading in what the real law is in the state of Florida.
He spent much of the time arguing with the judge.
And I've never given legal advice. I only give lawful advice. And there's a difference between legal and lawful.
You're arguing apples and oranges.
It took the jury 1 hour before returning the...
It only took an hour. That's a pretty quick deliberation. They didn't even have to buy him lunch.
Same verdict on all 10 charges.
The defendant is guilty of unlicensed practice of law as charged in the information.
It was bad news for Williams, and it was about to get worse. Judge Andrew Siegel sentenced him to 180 days in jail, 22 years probation, and
22 years of probation?
Ordered him to turn over his badges and ID.
He's prohibited from calling himself a private attorney general, an attorney, or implying in any which way, shape, or form that he has any ability to practice law.
As his supporters listened, Williams lashed out at prosecutors.
Both y'all state attorneys are crooks. Both of y'all criminals, and y'all gonna pay for what you did. The jury was rigged. I will find out. And both of y'all going to jail.
But it is Williams who is in jail now, and he has more to think about than this case. According to authorities, he is currently being investigated for mortgage fraud. Carmel Cafaro, 7 News.
That tracks.
Insubordination.
I've seen this one, but it's good, so.
You are a public servant, and you are in breach of the public trust. For the record, would you like to make your counterclaims or dispute any of the claims that I've made or my rightfully established rights and freedoms? Failure to answer is consent. I want you to know that. It actually states it here. I'm sure you can read. I'm sure you're literate. Failure to register a dispute against the claims made herein will result in an automatic default judgment and permanent or irrevocable estoppels by acquiescence barring the bringing of charges under any statute or act against myself, a free sovereign inhabitant.
You writing that down doesn't make it legally true. If you write a document that says, I have sent you this letter, and if you do not respond, then you owe me $100. That's not legally binding. That's not how this works.
Okay? You've been given notice of this. Do you agree?
I disagree.
And in what counts? On what part?
Failure to answer his consent sounds, that word? Yeah. What's funny, too, because they never think the same is true in the opposite. They think they have to consent for the law to apply to them, but they think they can do that shit. It's so hypocritical.
Exactly do you disagree? I have to explain myself. You need to be under oath. Are you under oath right now? Are you under the penalty of perjury?
Phil, if you'll sit over there, please. I'll sit over here.
I want to be on the record that I do not consent to the browbeating or the intimidation tactics used by my servants.
It's the legal equivalent of my arm's going to start doing this, and if you get hit, it's your fault. Mm-hmm.
And who is the bailiff or the gatekeeper for these proceedings? Perhaps we're in the wrong venue. It says this in this statutes here. It says the lawful courts in the state of Oklahoma are to be courts of justice by the people. You have been vested with the interest of the people, the trust of the people, and you're in violation of that trust.
All right, please.
I will not stand for this.
Listen to me. Everybody pay attention. Turn off the
No,
camera.
sir. Will not. Freedom of press.
Listen,
Freedom of press.
You had.
I object, Your Honor.
Take this
I
man
object.
into custody for contempt.
I object. Sir, hold on. Wait. Pursuant.
Put your hands behind
I object.
You're under arrest.
Stand down.
behind your back.
Stand down. Stand down. I'm giving you a lawful order right now to stand down. Taser.
Pursuant, Your Honor, objection. I've played Phoenix right. I know the law. This one's a classic.
First and last name?
We'll watch this last one and then I'll raid someone. Because I gotta go get ready for D&D, which starts at 9.
I have a last name?
You don't have a last name?
No.
What's your first name?
I don't have a first name either. I've got a name. My name is Robert. You can call me Robert.
Oh, wow.
I'm not a person. See, you deal here with Admiralty Maritime Jurisdiction, which deals with persons, which I am not.
What are you? Are you human?
I'm a man.
You're human?
I'm a man, yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
No.
You're not a U.S. citizen?
I was not born in Washington, D.C., or any territory of the under federal jurisdiction, so no, I'm not a U.S.
Were
citizen.
you born in the United States of America and any of the states?
I was born in America. Yes, I'm a state citizen of one of the several states.
There's more than 7.
One of the several?
Keirthan says, I've never watched Hannah and Jake's D&D games, but at this point I feel I'm too far behind to start. There is a YouTube archive if you ever want to. Right now the channel's called Unpopular Culture, but it's all the D&D stuff now. It's going to get switched over. And within the next 4 months or so, we're starting Campaign 2, which is basically a whole new story in the same world with new characters, starting out with Episode 1. So that'll be a thing. And I'll let you guys know when that's coming up, because I know some people don't want to start in the middle. So I'll let you know when we start the new one.
Which state?
Idaho?
Idaho. Can I see your Idaho state license?
No, I don't have one.
You don't have one?
My person does, but I don't. And I don't wish to create joinder with you.
All right. And if you want to just...
Can I get your name, please? E. Smith, thank you. Are you a bailiff or are you a prosecutor? Oh, you're probably a bailiff. You got the air thing in, huh?
Yeah, it should be easy for you to pick up stuff. Like a lot of it's just, you know, the storytelling. Only like today we're doing a combat episode, but you'd pick up the rules relatively easy, I think, watching it. But it's certainly understandable if you've never played D&D.
I know. I can ask you, but you should. It's not famous.
Come on in, folks. Are you here for 8:30?
The Otaku X says, I played D&D exactly once. I burned down a forest trying to rescue kidnapping victims. The kidnappers escaped, and the kids burned to death, but we convinced the parents the kidnappers killed them. Yeah, that sounds like a game of D&D.
Yes. Okay. I'm not starting up yet, but you can have a seat on the bench here. If anyone can kind of speak up and
I'm going to go in and speak with the prosecutor. Excuse me. Excuse me. You're blocking my freedom of movement.
It's great to... He's going to force his way into the courtroom, and it ends about as badly as you would expect.
All right. Well, P. Barnes, you just admitted to me that you're violating my rights.
No, I'm not. You can't come in with the camera.
Well, you're violating my rights. And this is also freedom of the press.
From behind you.
This is also freedom of the press. I mean, I don't know what the hell law book you're reading, man, but it doesn't apply to me.
You leave the camera with your mother outside the courtroom and you can come in.
You are not God. You have no jurisdiction over me.
God's not worried about cameras, sir. I am.
All right. Well, why are you worried about cameras? Because you want to do something wrong? Because you want to do something wrong? Because if it's against the rules, that means it's because somebody intends on wronging somebody else.
No. A lot of courtrooms have no camera rules for the anonymity of those involved, victims and defendants, because of course you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. All that jazz. Witnesses, stuff like that.
Because they're afraid of being held accountable. P. Barnes.
It's a nice speech, but you're still not coming in.
Well, I mean, I don't have to go in because you can't even issue a warrant for me.
You might as well leave.
Well, no, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to speak with the prosecutor.
You can go in there without the camera.
Well, please step aside. I'm going in.
No, you're not going in.
Don't touch me.
You're not going in, sir.
Let the record show that you just battered me.
Step back.
And you're using... Oh! Stop, please. I'm not doing anything wrong. Hey, you know what? You guys are really overstepping your bounds right now.
Put the cuffs on him.
Put the cuffs on. What are you arresting me for?
Not bad. I've been told to raid this person, who is making music. Nice. Right on. Alright, I hope I see some of you guys at D&D later on Actual Jake's, over on Actual Jake's channel. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Have a good St. Patrick's Day. Drink water if you're going to be imbibing. I'll see you all later. Chat's valid. Have a good night.